Okay, so are we starting immediately at 9 p.m.?
That works for me.
Or are we waiting until the next morning?
I think
What are we
we're
doing?
starting immediately with Broad. I think we're starting with Broad stomping angrily out of his father's shop.
All righty. So that would be S01E13 begins.
All right,
Argos.
where are the notes? Who did Dad say took my family?
Huh? You what? What did what?
Who did Dad say absconded with my family?
There were two people, a couple of animals, and what he thought was some sort of giant outside the city gates.
And we're in
All
Targus,
right.
right?
We are in Targos.
Yes.
So 3 nights ago, taken likely by the Druids, 2 humans, 1 male, 1 woman, Ravizon, preaching, sacrifice, yellow eyes, talking reindeer, and a giant outside the wall. That is Hans Fear, Grylo the Druid, family Broad. Dad sent people to hire Atimus Swift and Jartha, one of the good eggs, and the outfitters to care Candy to track them down. And in the Google chat for the rhyme, it's called Rhyme Dash People's Places and Things. It's an Excel spreadsheet, and there's a tab at the bottom called Targos, which is where I read that from.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, so I guess I immediately go outside the city gates and start looking for signs of giants and humans and reindeer and shit.
Okay. Well, it's nighttime, but it's but you're able to here, I'll move us over to the Targos map. Targos, where are you, Targos?
No one knows.
Targos. Really?
I,
Targos? Huh.
Yeah, I have torches and I have druid craft, so I will have a lit torch if I need it. Although I think I have a wizard friend who casts light.
You are correct, you do. In fact, it would probably be willing to walk out with you if you need assistance.
Oh, and I think I still have that little like trinket light that the artificer gave me.
Oh yeah, and it's not as bright, but it'll light up the ground where you need to see.
Right. It's not as huge a light, which might actually be better because I can kind of shield it in my hands and just point it where I need, kind of like a flashlight. I think it's 5 feet and then 5 feet dim.
Yep.
So if you guys can see the map, the area that your father points out is just here to the west of the gate. I would assume you wish to
move myself over there.
Yeah, okay. Let me get some survival or tracking or some kind of ranger shit.
I can assist. I'd be looking to.
Okay.
Yes, you can assist by all means.
So roll with advantage on survival.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I passed the 10.
Survival.
Joe, I don't know what
Nine.
your assist stuff is, but
The assist thing is just you say you're doing the assist and that gives advantage. Yeah. I know
19.
that there's something about doing it that way, but that or the other way where you have to have a 10 at least, but
yeah,
I've never been a fan of that.
Awesome.
So it takes you a few minutes. Well, what is it? Let us consult the weather. This is Flame Rule the 12th. It is 9 p.m. And that means the overcast skies are beginning to, clear up a little bit. They doesn't really help much in terms of, brightness, but at least the aura of the everlasting rhyme starting to become visible. And, you're able to kind of make your way around in the dark. It takes you a few minutes to find anything super useful because this was literally 2 nights ago. But you do find evidence of some definitely much larger than human-sized boot prints. You're able to find some, what could be a reindeer or maybe a moose. You're pretty sure it's a reindeer. And, several humans that are kind of, they were obviously kind of shuffling around here. And the thing that draws your attention to it is there's not a whole lot of traffic over to this side. Normally if people are going to go and take the road, go around, there's not really anything directly around in terms of being to the west of Targos, except for Bremen. And generally speaking, you don't just skip Targos, you go through Targos to get to the gate on the west. So you're relatively confident that you have indeed the place where said event was.
Do I see these tracks leading away?
You do. And you see that they go to the east. They get onto the main road, as it were. The one on the map that says to Brinchander. Assuming that's what it says for you guys.
I don't think actually does say it, but I know which road you're talking about because I know what the map looks like.
Right. You guys
Yeah.
can't see the map, really?
I
We can see the map, but I don't see labels on the roads.
Yeah. I see the east
Could you-
way.
could you-
Yeah. Okay.
If you could ping it, that just do a ping.
Yeah.
I will
So
see.
this is
Okay.
the road, and
So
you
that's
have
about
sort
where
of
I
this.
am
You have
now.
sort of this Y in the road, and they definitely begin. They lead off as though they were heading what is effectively northeast, which would eventually, those of you who are from the area, would get you to the town of Tourmaline. And then beyond that,
All right.
Lonelywood.
So just to be clear, we're talking about they took this path at the fork, right?
Northeast.
Do it again. I was looking at a different map. Yes, that is correct.
All right, I will once again ask System to help me do a little survivaling,
Mhm.
because I'm enough of a tracker and a not wanting to be tracked kind of person that I want to make sure that they actually went that way, that they didn't just want to make it look like they went that way and doubled back and blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah.
Good thinking. Go ahead and
God damn.
you're relatively confident, whether you were right or you're wrong, that this is indeed the path that they took.
All right, what's the surrounding, like, are we in woods? Is it wide open? Like, what's going on?
It's very much wooded tundra, like most of the rest of Icewind Dale. I mean, around the town of Targos, it's cleared off, but within about a quarter of a mile or so, you get into what we would think of as a deep alpine forest.
Yep.
Okay. So I will then want to go off into the woods here in the fork, and I would ask Hoot especially because he's scary. But everyone to like give me 15 minutes or so, if you don't mind.
Okay. I mean, I don't mind.
I'm good.
Well, I'm asking the rest. Okay. I ritually cast Speak with Animals. And then I look for an animal while being friendly and unassuming.
So you're gonna make the quarter-mile journey to the edge of the woods, looking for something in the woods?
I thought you said there. I asked about it, and I thought you indicated there were woods.
There are woods
Like around us,
about a quarter of a
immediately.
mile away from Targos is when the woods begin. Everything
Okay,
else has been
well, there's-
cleared out around it. It's not that far of it's a quarter of a mile.
Yeah, that's true. So yes, I will hike the quarter of a mile, but I won't cast Speak with Animals till I get there.
Till you get there. Right.
Yeah.
I was just
I
making
mean, it
sure.
only lasts 10 minutes. So
Right on. All right. Well, let's see what we get here. Uh-huh. Where's my chart? Where
and
is it?
here's me
Great dragon.
trying to
other
be.
animal, but whatever.
That's
Okay.
me trying to be charming
Somebody
with
roll me a
the first
D20.
animal I find.
All right, somebody roll me a D20. All right. Okay, so you as you kind of make your way, you do the ritual casting, you feel prepared, and almost immediately, like just inside the woods, you notice what seems to be like 2 or 3, maybe more, you're unsure, wolves that are kind of behind a fallen tree. It's all snowed over, and they're kind of looking to see what you are, and kind of looks like they're trying to decide whether to attack you or flee. So what do
I
you-
will reach, and I'm still sitting down.
right.
I kind of assume druidic ritual casting probably involves sitting crisscross applesauce and meditating on the forest a lot. Either that or it involves dancing naked in the forest. It's one or the other. There's no in between.
Lots of done.
I will,
Well, I mean, if it's any consolation to you, Saloon is waxing gibbous. So,
Yeah.
full moon's just a few days away. So you're getting warm. Well, no, you're not. You're getting closer, but you're definitely not getting warm.
I will like bow my head to them. I
Okay.
will reach into my pack and pull out some dwarf meat and kind of like lay it on the ground in front of me, and then assume a neutral, non-threatening posture.
So there's a few seconds of like wolves kind of looking at each other, and then one of them kind of nudges one out, and you can tell he's not the alpha, right? Like this is beta male work, right? And so he wanders, kind of cautiously wanders up to you, and sniffs at it again, looks up at you, and then he like takes a quick little nibble, and then he like looks back, and the alpha pops over the fallen tree, pads over to the dwarf meat, And he helps himself to a big tasty bite of not very fresh dwarf meat, which is still pretty good
No,
for a wolf in Icewind Dale.
I will, well, how does he react after he takes his bite?
I mean, he takes his bite, and there's I mean, for real, there's not a whole lot left, because he wolfed it down.
Oh,
And so he's kind of looking at not what you would call friendly. These are indeed, hard bitten wolves of the tundra that have they've seen some shit, man. And they're not entirely trusting.
Right. That's fair. I pull out all the rest of the dwarf meat and just unwrap it and lay it before them.
Well, you do that, and the alpha kind of lunges in, and then he kind of looks up, sniffs, and kind of yips a couple of times, and the other two come out from around the tree. So now you have 4 wolves very close to you, loudly and happily consuming the flesh of a sentient being.
Casual,
Hmm?
very casual.
Very casual.
As they get near the end of it,
Uh-huh.
which I assume won't be, very
It's
long,
not going to take
I
long.
will,
Yeah, like less than a minute.
yeah, yeah, I will take out my mess kit and use the cooking pan and the shallow bowl as water bowls and pour some clean, fresh water from my water skin into it for them.
Oh boy. Well, you've you're trying to take on the appearance of a benevolent deity, aren't you? Fresh water that's not frozen is an oddity in the Wild Kingdom here, and so they lap it up. It's not very orderly. The alpha gets his, he steps away, then the other 3 kind of come up and do the little, yip, yip, slurpy slurp. Have you ever seen like a husky drink water? It's
Yeah,
kind of splashy and messy and a wee bit drooly, but they're relatively, I mean, this is food and drink that they didn't have to spend all night hunting. This is pretty good.
and then I say to them, with Speak with Animals going, well, I say to the alpha, Brother Wolf, may I ask you some questions about recent events in these environs?
He kind of leans back on his paws, because he has never, ever had someone speak to him, and especially in his, in a way he can understand. And he says, I don't think of you as a friend, but you are not an enemy, and you have treated my pack well. I will tell you what I know.
Are you familiar with the Man Road just north of here? I believe it's north. I get the direction right because I'm a ranger.
Yes.
A member of my own pack was taken from me by 2 humans and a reindeer and maybe a giant thing. I describe the suspects, and I believe they traveled upon that road 2 moonrises ago. Did you see them pass?
The alpha kind of nods his head. Yes, they were traveling, and he kind of points his muzzle towards Tourmaline.
And did they appear to be carrying any captives? 2 human women, 1 raven-haired, 1 auburn. Actually, I'll pull out the locks of hair, such as these.
He leans in and he sniffs at the hair. He goes, these are familiar smells. He goes, there were 2 with them that they were not walking with the same purpose that the others were.
I put up the locks of hair. Well, you have their scent now. I don't think they will be back this way. But if you smell these women again, please, I beg you, do them no harm. If you see someone harming them, do with them as you will. And if you happen to kill them, I can get more meat.
You ever seen a dog smile? You kind of get that big wolfy grin, get the tongue kind of lolling out, a little shine of the eyes, and he says, "This we can do."
Big tail wag.
Right?
I appreciate it. I will leave you to your night
And
with my thanks.
the alpha turns to his pack, and there's some yipping and growling, and then the leader leans his head back, sniffs, gives a good wolf howl, and they vanish back into the woods, leaving you
Okay.
with your thoughts.
Okay. I remain seated until they have left, and then I gather up my mess kit and the wrappings from the meat. I'm not going to leave litter. I'm not a bad person.
Right.
Uh,
We'll
And,
engage in cannibalism.
stow it
We're
all
not a litter. That's not,
yes.
that's
Cannibalism is natural, okay? Leaving
lines.
man-made products in the wilderness is not. Sorry, Laura.
I said there are lines. I mean, lines.
right. But I won't do that. Okay.
All right, I
Well,
return to the party.
it's creeping up on about 10 p.m. and the overcast weather seems to be the light cloud coverage seems to be giving way to almost clear skies.
I return to the party, tell them that, yeah, I am now 100% certain that they took this road and they have my sister and mother. We won't be much good to them if we show up exhausted, so we probably should turn in. I will not look down on you if you decide to go back to town and get rooms. I'm going to sleep out here.
I was going to say, I probably, in the time that we were waiting, had probably built the beginnings of at least a wind shear, something to keep the wind out with shape water, just moving the snow around to kind of make us our little blue pre-tensor's hut kind of thing. So I can just finish up that. I feel like someone's crying. Did I do
Daily.
Oh,
Instead of like Lehman's tiny hut, it's like Dalen's ramshackle shack.
Yeah.
Dalen's ramshackle lean-to.
Yeah.
It's not like a dome. It just protects you against one side. Very good at that one side. Rest of
I'm
it.
working it.
Right. Oh, so you guys are gonna sleep outside, huh?
That's funny.
I mean,
I am,
that's
but
awesome.
I guess actually Croesus is probably fine with the group, but if as long as we've got a shelter, do we have do we have a shelter or
With the shape water, I can basically make in an infinite amount of snow. I can make us 2 or 3 different little igloos. Make it too big, you start worrying about structural integrity, but make that within a couple of minutes. So yeah, I'm building shelters right now.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Croesus doesn't feel this. I don't know.
So
Do-
a
Do
snow
we
hut.
really want to stay outside in this lovely weather?
Farouk loves the idea of an igloo. He's like, please explain this to me.
Of like no bending every 6 seconds. Another 5 feet of wall gets brought up and kind of frozen in place, and then the next one's brought up.
It's like a cave, but outside.
Yes, exactly. In fact, I should probably be building these as a public service because they're not going to go anywhere unless somebody knocks them down because the snow will freeze and stay frozen.
No one with shape water has ever thought about this before.
Right. That's right. Getting that mileage, getting the mileage out of those spells while you can.
That's right.
Go, go,
Yeah,
go.
so I build up 2 or 3 different, little ones kind of facing each other. Holes at the top for if we want to be able to create a fire inside, so the heat just leaves, the smoke just leaves, but we could have some heat inside as needed. And then I'm assuming it's 10. We've already probably broke out the jerky and cheese and have eaten for the most part. So
Right. You guys.
I don't think the outside's a
watch.
good idea, but we'll see how these ice huts do. Not looking forward to this.
I'll toss off a druid craft to see if we can expect decent weather throughout the night.
So you cast Druidcraft, and a large ferret comes crawling out from the woods, which is kind of weird. You're not really certain if ferrets are actually woodland creatures. They are, but he kind of looks at you and he's like, okay. He licks a little claw, sticks it up in the air, sniffs the air, kind of chases his tail for a couple of seconds, doing a little weasel war dance, and then he gets down to business, right? So your idea for the weather is it's going to be awesome until about 2 a.m. And then you get the sense following that there will be a couple of hours of very heavy snow. And then the snowfall will give way to about 4 hours of hail.
Ooh.
Followed, and then the hail storm will give way into about a 6-hour blizzard.
Right, Yaga, do we just need
No, sorry, 5-hour blizzard.
do we just need to push through till this stuff starts hitting and then we build the shelter and get as far as we can? Because if that's accurate, we're not making any distance tomorrow.
And
That's true. So Joe, I guess it's now time to consult with the DM about exactly how Druidcraft works. It tells me the weather in my area. How wide of an area is the information valid for?
I would say imagine a weather forecast for, like today. It would be regional. I would say probably, within, 10 to 12 hours of travel, it would be accurate. I mean, the times would be different, but the weather patterns themselves will not.
Right. So I don't think we can actually get, I don't think we can hike our way out of this storm before it gets here.
Well, okay. It is a 4-hour journey to Tourmaline. You guys are not using the dog sleds, right? So you're hoofing it. So the heavy snowfall will begin at about 2 a.m., which is about 4 hours from then. After that, you have
Yeah, let's
yeah.
try to make Tourmaline.
Yeah, we got to move tonight if we're going to do it. All right.
All right, so you guys are gonna pack it up and pack it in, right?
Good. I did not want to sleep
Yeah,
out
we-
here anyway.
Well, it looks like we might not have to. We're gonna get to Tourmaline. You know, I check my bowstring, check my bootstraps, make sure Hoot is okay. Whisper lovingly in Hoot's ear that I'm sorry I gave away the rest of the dwarf meat to those wolves.
All right, well, somebody roll me a d20,
A random encounter.
a random encounter. What do we got?
Do you just have your mouse like hovering over the D20?
That's-
I do not, but I'm very quick. I was actually reading an article, but when somebody gave me, I went over to that screen.
All righty, well,
You're reading an article called How to Roll D20s Quicker.
Really,
Yes.
oh, that's awesome.
Take it back.
So the only creatures that you notice, and Broad, you immediately recognize the wolf pack. You hear them kind of howling and running, and at one point they actually cross the road in front of you, and as they're crossing, the alpha kind of looks back at you and kind of nods his head, gives a good howl, and they scamper off into the, well, not really into the darkness, but into the deeper darkness, away from the shadows and circles of pale torchlight and magical light cast by these interlopers into their land. But other than that, you make good use of the time, and right as you begin making your way into what you're pretty sure is Tourmaline, the skies have given way to sort of bloated dark shapes and clouds, and the snow begins to fall right as you get there.
Oof.
Okay, sorry, I wanna go back just a minute here because you kind of breezed by the wolves, and that's cool because you weren't expecting us to fight them, and I'm not planning on it. But I'm going to use a slot when I see them to cast Speak with Animals, and I will call after them as they leave. There will be rough weather tonight, friends. Find shelter. That's it.
You hear an appreciative howl and then some barking, and then it fades off into the distance.
Why does Broad Yaga sound like puppy dog? Why
Those
does
were
he
the
go a
same
woo?
wolves.
I don't understand.
Right?
Those were the same wolves that confirmed where my sister and mother were taken. They are, if not friends, at least not immediate foes.
Talking to animals. I will never get used to it.
I will never get used to talking to big lizards.
if access to a wide number of powers many would consider unnatural.
But yeah, it's a Sith thing. Are Dragonborn cold-blooded, or are lizard people cold-blooded? What would happen here with either of those races?
Mm,
Okay, Harvard.
Well, so lizard people are, I think lizards and dragons are very different creatures, despite the fact that they share scales, you know? Dragons, I think, are definitely dragons. I don't know if they're, I assume their blood is there. I assume they're warm-blooded because their habits don't tend to be that of cold-blooded things.
They're
All
cold
Not that I'm-
reptiles look the same to me.
and races are
Racist.
ice blooded or fire blooded or acid blooded.
Acid-blooded, lightning-blooded.
Lightning
So we're gonna hit Tourmaline about 2 a.m. I'm assuming we're not gonna necessarily get into the gate, if there's a gate, much less in anywhere. So are we building up a shelter here along the wall or whatnot? I'm not sure what Tourmaline looks like.
Tourmaline doesn't really have a wall. It's not that big.
Okay.
It's pretty much like you kind of, as you make your way through, you've been kind of trudging through the snowy path of the forest for several hours. The snow has begun to fall, and you come through a break in the trees, and there is some land cleared out. You're very close to the shores of Mare Duldon, which is one of the large bodies of frozen water. Tourmaline is or was a fishing village. It's not very big. As you kind of approach it, it is, there's not much in the way of lights even. You don't see many signs of occupation, other than there are a few chimneys with telltale wisps of smoke drifting out, and the snow has begun to fall, and you make your way to. Can you guys see the map?
Yep.
So you get
If I'm on that page, maybe.
all right.
See. I see blackness.
I see
You're right.
blackness as well.
You can zoom out, but I don't think we have vision. We're like Wanda.
It's in
Oh,
daylight mode. It's not supposed to matter.
Actually, if you don't have vision, it doesn't matter if you have daylight mode.
Right.
Oh, all right. Hang
Yeah.
on. Son of bitch.
Rajaga, have you been here before? Could you get us to the doors of an inn who might open the doors if we bang loud enough before this gets any worse?
I have to consult the DM to find out what I know. I'm assuming I've been here before. Does it have an inn?
I have vision.
Oh, I mean, that looks big enough to have an inn.
it's a whole village.
No wall though.
Right. Like I said, it's a small village. So, you are aware that there is an inn here that is, I don't know if I'd go so far as to call it well known, but if you're traveling through Tourmaline, and you have a few times, it's not that far from where you grew up, you know that there's a place called the East Side. Yeah, that's it. And so you know that is an inn and a tavern, and so is that where you're going to go? Is that where you will approach?
Yeah, I mean, if that's where I know, that's where I'll head.
Yeah,
And as we approach it, I want to see if it has anything around the outside that looks like the proprietors might care about that isn't adequately protected from the coming hailstorm.
Well, you you as you kind of get close
I mean,
to
I'm
it.
not going to roam around and inspect, but I just want
Right,
to see if anything pops
you
out.
you as you approach, you are reminded of how this place is. It looks like a bunch of small buildings, like little separate buildings, but really they're a single structure. And you remember something about underground passageways, maybe a big cellar. Yeah, that's that place. So this place is, and you remember that that Marta is the innkeeper, and she is a young teenager, and she is caring for her sick dad a lot of times, but she also tries to make it up and do the work to keep the inn going. And you know that there are quite comfortable accommodations underground.
Oh, that's a good thing to know. So as I approach, I mean, do they have like a cart or anything that looks like it might get fucked up because it's unprotected, or any vulnerable possessions?
Not
Unsecured?
any vulnerable possessions, because the weather is just catastrophic most of the time. But there are some sled dogs that are out. They're not out. They're not like roaming around loose, but it looks like maybe someone stopped there to get some food or something. So they would be vulnerable to the elements if they were not moved.
Okay, that's good to know. I enter the inn. So I know you said I knew Marta.
Mhm.
Do I know Marta since I've had Hoot, and therefore does Marta know Hoot?
No, it has you. You have not made a
Okay.
habit of going into towns much as
That's
Broadjava.
true. I have not.
Yeah, you. In fact,
that is
there's
true.
a little tickle in the back of your head that she might remember you, but if she does, she remembers you as Fannin.
She might think I'm dead.
She might.
Oh yeah, and she might think I'm dead.
Yeah, or it's a crazy world. It might be okay.
Well,
But as you do
I'm
get
gonna have Hoot wait outside for now.
right, as you get closer to it, you can hear the sounds of, it's not crowded, not like a big crowd, but several people that are kind of boisterously talking. They are well into the ale as the night has progressed into the wee early hours. We're getting close to the woo people time. You know what the woo people time is?
Woo!
Woo! Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the woo people.
Yeah.
So we're not quite woo people 30, but we're almost a woo people 30.
How much familiarity does Croesus have with this tavern?
How long have you been in the area? I don't remember. Year, right? Over a year?
This go around, yes.
Right. So you were much more familiar with the east side when Clyde was running it, who is Marta's father.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you remember Marta from when she was very young and very small. So
Cool.
you have been in a couple of times. You haven't like made a point of it.
That makes sense.
But
That tracks.
you do know who she is, and you are aware of what this place is.
Okay.
Yeah. I tell Hoot to wait at the door. Don't worry, girl. You won't spend the night out here. I'll be back for you. Just got to make arrangements.
Right on.
And then I proceed inside.
All right. Well, you get in, you kind of walk inside, and there's 4 or 5 people, typical, D&D tavern sort of setting. There is a fire going in the fireplace, and the this room isn't that big. It's a single building, but it's one big room. And you see, pretty prominently that there's a staircase leading down into what are the underground, passages and chambers where the guest accommodations are. And you see Marta kind of cleaning up behind the bar, and you and Croesus, give me history checks. There's not really a skill that directly goes to this.
History check. History check. Gonna give him a very best history check.
So Rod, you don't remember this, but Croesus, you remember Marta's fondness for this song, right? And she kind of hums along to the words, and then every now and then she breaks out into words, like ahead of winters when she came, the lovely woman had no name, draped in a fur-lined cloak of red, to the icy lake she fled. The wind pursued her all the same. As sure as night, she's dead. And she's kind of like humming along. Sistin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The melody, you have heard this song before with vastly different lyrics. like the version you've heard didn't have anything about a woman in a fur-lined cloak or being in a lake, and especially being dead. In fact, you kind of remember it as being kind of like one of those upbeat sort of, like if you're starting to warm the crowd up and you're starting to kind of feel it, and everybody's like 2 or 3 drinks in, like this is the song that that'll kind of get people to nod their head and smiling a little bit. But these lyrics are a little morbid, and you are conscious of the fact that song and music are a universal language, but the stories and emotions that get attached to them can be wildly different from place to place. And it kind of sticks out to you at what a difference the environment of Icewind Dale has made, even on the music they sing. And
If there's an opportunity to like finish a lyric or like sing a phrase or two along, Croesus will take it. And it will be out of time because of the way he speaks.
Right. So
if he does that, I side-eye the fuck out of him. Just like, the fuck?
Right. So Marta kind of stops and looks, and she kind of eyes you all. And she looks at you, Croesus, and she's like, Croesus? I haven't seen you in a long time. And then she looks at you, Broad, and you can tell like she is thumbing her way through the Rolodex in her brain, trying to find that card with the picture on it, that looks like you. And for whatever reason, she's not making the connection. There's something about you. She's like, I think I recognize that guy. Croesus, I definitely recognize because
He's big and red.
He's a red dragonborn wandering around, very flamboyantly, trucking around the 10 towns. And then she kind of looks at the rest of you, kind of like, oh, okay, Croesus, you have a group with you, maybe like a party of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. She's like doing some. She goes, that's. I've never seen you with this many people. It's been a
Croesus
long.
just
It's been a
smiles with
long
a
time
big
since
grin
I've
and
seen
kind of
you.
bows
Right.
his head.
It's been a long time since I've seen you. Where have you been? You know, and so she kind of falls into that. It's if it were from an innkeeper or a person working in a tavern that you didn't know better of, you would think she was falling into that like Hooter girl thing, where they lean over and they get real close and they talk. But it's not. It's genuine. It's very natural, and she's very friendly, and she's like, it's the middle of the night. What are you doing? Wandering around? You're gonna freeze to death. It can't be that good for you.
I know, it's what I do now. I wander around. It's where I've been exploring and seeing strange new things. But I've made some friends, and we were in the area and thought that maybe we could crash here for what's left of the night.
So well, we definitely have space available. Do you want separate rooms? We don't really have one big room that you can all be accommodated. Although there is kind of the larger fire pit common room that's underground.
I'm sure whatever you have, we can make do with, separate or not separate.
And do you have? Do you guys have dogs? Do you have animals with you?
Rod just starts
Croesus just
laughing.
turns to Broad Yaga and just kind of like gives you the nod to be like, "This is your turn."
She's like,
we do travel with one hearty animal companion.
mhm.
I'll let you meet her in a second. First, to whom do the dogs that are outside belong? Because they need to be brought in. There will be hail tonight.
She just kind of looks at you for a second, still trying to place you, but she's like, and how do you know this?
Oh, he's an egg.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Weather is pattern.
right.
If you pay enough
True.
attention, you can work it out.
Okay. And she kind of, gestures over to a guy sitting in the door. He is still wearing his like cold weather gear. Like you could tell he just like pulled in, was fueling up, and was probably about to head back out. But she goes like, it's going to start hailing here soon, and he's like, well, that's and so they have a little quick talk, and they do have a kennel / stable thing, and they'll be protected from the elements.
That's good to know. Now, you should come meet our animal before I bring her in. She may unsettle your guests.
She's like, oh, okay.
Croesus, reassure her that I'm on the up and up here.
It's fine. It's just most people are unsettled, and it will be okay. I assure you. Do not worry. He is very friendly.
Oh, okay. So she comes through the door with you and waits for the big reveal.
Okay, I walk outside and there is Hoot sitting or laying there waiting for me to return. And
She looks at Hoot.
Gruffle her feathers.
She looks at you. She looks at Hoot. She looks over at Croesus. She looks at the rest of your traveling menagerie. And she's like, Croesus, you're a lamplighter? This is the Lamplighters? I mean, it has to be. That's the only party that travels with a baby owlbear.
How did you know? Was it the owl bear?
It was the owlbear. Yeah, that's.
See,
mean,
I told you everything's okay.
I look around to see if her saying the word lamplighter like elicited any response and what kind of response from anyone who may have overheard it.
I got really excited.
I don't care how y'all feel about it. I'm more worried about someone thinking, oh, the Lamplighters, they have a bounty on their head. I should kill them.
Oh, well, you said anybody.
I
I'm
mean,
sorry.
you don't like. There may be like, there's like 5 people here. Like a couple of them kind of look up, kind of look
Never
at
mind,
you.
I
They
didn't
don't
notice.
see Hoot, so the recognition isn't there. But March is like, people travel through here coming from Lonely Wood and going to Targos, and sometimes going into the lands over toward Kelvin's Cairn, and people talk. You guys, you were you brought the lamp back to the Northern Light. That right? That's how you got your name?
2 days ago.
It is.
Well, that's great. I will happily give you guys the heroes discount. And then she stops for a second. She goes, wait a minute. You said before you bring her in, is her the owlbear?
I mean, who else would it be?
She's like, oh, okay.
She's very well behaved.
Right.
Look,
she
my
looks
gnomish
at you,
friend wants to ride
Croesus,
her.
and she looks at you, Broad, and then she kind of looks at the rest of you. and I assume Tax is there with, like a mechanical flying owl or some
Yeah,
shit.
Yeah. I
And,
think
and
it's safe to assume that Tax would be talking up how awesome a mount
right. And she's like,
Hoot is.
she's like, all right, everybody, it's time to go. It's bedtime. You don't have to go home. You can't stay here. Last call. Get the fuck out. And so she kind of bustles everybody outside. She goes, all right, just. She looks at you, Croesus. She goes, because it's you. She looks at Broad. She goes, because you're real familiar. And because the people that came through that were telling the story about you guys was really good. And she goes, the only thing is I feel like your story needs a song, maybe music. If you guys, right?
That's why we have her.
Yeah.
Who is talking about us?
Oh, there were people that were, let's see. It was consult the calendar. Consult the calendar. Since it was
Consulting.
right. It's like it was like maybe yesterday. Early morning, people came through. Which to be clear, she's talking about the 11th. The 10th is when your family was yoinked. And so she goes, there's a couple of guys. I want to say they were from maybe Caer-Konig or Caer Denival, one of the Cares. I don't know. They're Cares. And they were just talking about how, how unusual it was for people to actually be doing, I don't know, good things. She goes, I don't know if you've noticed, but life is shit here. This is miserable. It's a dark, cold hellhole. And somebody did something nice. So, people were talking about it.
Man, like, just
I
as an aside,
appreciate it.
if just a little bit of good deeds travel this far, just as the only people doing good deeds, why does anybody stay here?
Yeah.
Why? Why is there even a single home
appreciate-
that's inhabited?
Familiarity
I
breeds
appreciate
contempt.
it. I appreciate it, but do not overstate the goodness. It was a fair exchange of services. We gave them their light.
So
They gave us
let me ask you
room and board.
this. Before in your life as Fannin, were you Mr. Half up front then as you are now?
I was definitely developing into it. But yeah. This isn't like a new thing that he gained on the road.
Right. She's like, Well, regardless, some people think you did some good. So, for you, you're going to get half off tonight. And I suppose we can let the owl bear sleep inside now that all the customers are gone. Although, please don't parade her through the common room during breakfast. And from your weather forecasting that around 8 a.m. is when the blizzard's going to hit. So you know that in the early morning hours, or not early, but in the what would be early morning for most people, that's when the blizzard's going to howl into town. So you're pretty confident you won't be parading through the common room during breakfast, because also it's getting close to like 2:30, maybe almost 3 in the morning. So you're probably going to sleep. And if you're lucky, you'll sleep through the blizzard.
Right. I warned Marta that there will be a blizzard mid-morning,
Yes, so?
and her breakfast crowd may be very, very thin.
She's like, okay. Like, she wants to believe you, but having no proof of a weather wizard, she's a little skittish on it. But so for
If you do not believe me now, believe me when the hail starts.
listen to me now and hear me later. And so she will give you guys the low rate of a silver per person. That includes breakfast. And you can either have a couple of smaller rooms or one big common room. Depends on how you want to do it. She's like, we don't have anyone else staying here overnight tonight. So you kind of have the run of the place. And you're getting the hero discount.
Nice. I hand her a silver and a couple of coppers, and just ask to be directed to a room with a bed that's warm.
And she points to the stairs going down. She goes, you'll get the bottom of the stairs. It's kind of a passageway. You can't miss the big common room. It has throw beds and something. But if you go a little bit, and she gives you directions to what would be a normal room at a tavern.
Gotcha.
Except it's underground. And it is pleasantly comfortable when you get underground.
I find a room with a bed,
Mm-hmm.
and I go to sleep.
All righty.
I give her 2 silver
Mm-hmm.
because I assume Hoot is a guest.
I mean, that's a good assumption.
And I will go to the common room. I will use my last 2 spell slots of the day to cast Goodberry twice and tuck those away for tomorrow.
Nice.
All righty. Everyone else sleeping positions.
Sleeping. I say if we have the one big room, that'd probably be good.
Okay.
Is the one big room a common room, or is that like our living room of our hotel?
It would be what if there were other guests, it would be a common room, but there aren't any other guests staying here tonight.
Yeah.
Right, so we're just taking it. It has a fireplace, right?
It does have a fireplace, big sturdy stone chimney reaching up to, above ground. Kind of goes, and you notice that chimney is probably also used in the kitchen as something up higher, so that you have two.
Yeah,
different.
well, I'll light the fire
All righty, you light the fire.
if it isn't already going.
No, it's already lit because Marta also lives here. And
fair.
after you guys get settled, she kind of makes her way downstairs and back to a private room. And when she opens the door, you can hear some coughing. Somebody, and she's like, "Hey, I'm here now, and I brought you some tea." And then the door closes. So, keeping watch. What are you guys doing?
I'll take first watch.
Definitely keep in watch.
Okay.
Croesus is gonna pass out.
Dalen, can you cast alarm or no?
Wrong character.
Wrong DM.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make sure about you.
All right. Let me get perception checks from all of you keeping guard. Standing watch.
On which watch?
Well, you guys
How
figure
many
that out.
watches are we doing? Because I don't. Okay. Who's doing what watches?
I'm doing.
We can't really. Okay, I'll do second watch.
Okay.
Gonna do third. Third for the goal. So assistant is doing third.
Okay.
All right, Varug. Give me some good numbers.
Let me roll for assistant.
I mean, the only one that has a chance of finding anything is Varuk. I mean, you're in a common room.
Or if anything
You
happens on second watch.
right. You do hear you get through Broad, you finish your watch, you go to sleep. You hear the hail beginning to kind of pelt upstairs, and you're like, yep, just as I predicted. But you do, Jesus God,
Right?
Oh,
Sister knows what's up.
right?
Whatever is up.
System
She
knows what is up, right? You make it through. You make it through the night. You sleep. If you want to get the long rest, you gotta make it through 8 hours. So you wake up around almost 11 o'clock, and the blizzard is in full force. Howling winds, driving snow. Holy shit, it's a blizzard.
Anyone know any good games to play while we stay inside? We could play dragon chess.
So you got your Druidcraft does it for 24 hours. Is that right, Brian?
Correct.
Okay.
And yeah, when I wake up, I will toss one out
So
ferret
you
comes
know that the blizzard
down
will
the
end,
chimney.
right? You know that the blizzard will end early afternoon, around 1 o'clock, and then that will kind of turn into a heavy snowfall, then to a light snowfall, then it will be cloudy and overcast. with storm clouds gathering in the late evening around 9 o'clock.
All right.
If we're gonna be stuck for a day, Joe, chance I'm gonna start working on another scroll with the remaining materials I have and start writing down some numbers of successful time.
All righty. I mean, do you guys wish to travel? I mean, probably not during the blizzard. Some of you would probably be okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Or
We're gonna
you-
wait for the blizzard to pass, but so the Druidcraft weather forecast is 24 hours. So once those storm class clouds have gathered at 9, how bad is the storm overnight?
You know that it's not going to be a blizzard so much it is going to be a lightning storm.
Nah, lightning storms. Who gives a shit about this?
I mean, at least it's
Uh,
lighter. You can see briefly.
right.
There's only a tiny,
Yeah, when the blizzard's
tiny
over-
percent chance that you'll get struck by lightning. Really small.
There's only
Exactly.
5% chance
How
of
far?
by a cult and that's happened to me twice.
How far is Lonelywood?
From here?
Yeah.
Lonely Wood.
No. I want to know how far it is from Thay.
Okay. Well,
Yes, from here.
2 hours
it's
normal.
about 2 hours. Yeah, it'll take you about 2 hours to get there.
Okay, so it goes from heavy snowfall. After blizzard, it goes to heavy snowfall, then light snowfall.
Then light cloud
I
coverage,
say
then
we-
overcast, then storm clouds, then lightning storm, then more
say
storm
we-
clouds, then overcast. You don't have another blizzard for,
I say
I mean, almost 24 hours.
at least the next 24 hours.
Yeah. Well, you do know
Oh,
that
right.
around,
Uh,
you know that the afternoon of the 14th, it will be a hailstorm in the morning, followed by a blizzard in the afternoon, and it will be several
that's-
hours long.
that's more than 24 hours out. I don't know that. Anyway, I say we start traveling during the light snowfall and get to Lonelywood and then assess from there.
All righty.
When the blizzard stops,
You'll have no place to
uh,
go.
by the time the blizzard stops, I will have wanted to have talked to Marta again.
Okay. You want to talk to her before you leave, or you like about what time?
Yes.
Okay.
I
So
mean, just no big rush, but especially if if people ever start traipsing in
It-
as the blizzard starts to lighten up, I would like to talk to her.
all righty. So a little housekeeping first. Dawn, if
Okay.
you're going to stay put through the heavy snowfall, assuming you wake up at 10, that will give you 5 hours.
That sounds great. Thank you.
Okay. Yep. And you Broad, you make your way upstairs. There's like 2 other people kind of warming themselves by the fire, and she's actually not really doing anything because there's not really anything for her to do at the moment. She kind of looks up when you come up from downstairs, and
Right.
she's like, "Is everything okay?"
Everything was fine. You run a fine establishment, but your town was hit pretty hard by a storm last night. And I know it's not the first time and it won't be the last, but some people may not have fared as well as others. I hand her 10 good berries. Each one of these will sustain a person for a day. They will be useless by midnight, but if you come across anyone who has lost it all. This will at least get them through the day.
That's really nice of you. Thank you. I'll give them out if someone who's had some bad luck comes in, or if I hear about them, I will make sure they get them.
I only ask that if you decide to charge money for them, which I will not judge you for, you cut me in for half next time I come through.
Because I don't intend to sell these.
Then you're nicer than I am, and half of nothing is nothing, so we're square.
She says, well, that's what I'm famous for, my sunny disposition.
Oh, I set up in the common room with my lute, tune it up, and play kind of a riff of the song melody that I recognized that she had been singing, since she obviously liked that song, and then move on to perhaps Happier. I don't know at this point.
Do you sing the lyrics
sorry.
you know of?
I
you sing-
don't. I
do you
just sing
sing-
it without the lyrics.
You just play the melody.
Just the melody.
So she pays attention because she knows the melody. There's obviously some stylistic differences, right? You bring your own little flair to it. And so she's like, how do you know that song?
Oh, and I tell her I've traveled the world and hear songs from different places. This is a song I heard you sing last night, but to me it has this other name. And so I sing a little bit of the lyrics I know for it. And I said, but music is universal. So I play the music for you.
She says, the lyrics that I sing, I just knew the song, but the lyrics that I kind of sing with it are kind of family history. It says like 50 years ago or so, there was a mysterious woman that had a fur-lined red cloak, and she stopped into this inn on her way to Lonelywood. But she was alone and she was frightened, and the innkeepers were my grandparents, and they saw she was frightened, and they were good people too, and said she gave him this ring, and she like holds up this ring that's on her ring finger. She gave it to them as payment, and like right after that, right, like just a few minutes after she gave them the ring, there was this big howling gust of wind that blew through the inn, and it like slammed her into the wall, kind of like threw around like a rag doll, to hear my grandfather tell it. And then they tried to help her out, and kind of help her get out of the inn, and then the wind, it was, I mean, we know wind isn't alive, but to hear my grandmother tell it, she said that wind had eyes. And
Wind is alive as you and I.
And she said, and my grandparents were knocked unconscious. that was the last we saw. Anybody ever saw of her. So yeah. That's where my my mother and my grandmother worked on this, and I've you know, I've changed the words up a little bit, but yeah, that's where that song comes from for me. She goes, it's crazy that you know it is a completely different thing.
Crazy, but not uncommon.
Hmm?
I said crazy, but not uncommon to take a melody and change the words. Now I wonder, would it be okay if I looked at the ring and studied it to see kind of what inspired the music? Sometimes the wearer of something can imbue it with the feeling that moved you to carry on the song. Songs are stories after all.
She goes, well, I guess, and she takes the ring off of her finger, and then she pulls this chain from around her neck,
Mhm.
and then kind of threads the chain through the ring, and hands it to you, kind of
Yeah.
not suspiciously, but you know, a little wary. This is her inheritance. This is her legacy. So she's kind of you know, it's kind of a bronze ring,
Mhm.
and it has where there would be a gemstone, it looks like almost like an ice sculpture of a very stylized bust with hands over the head, maybe. But it looks like it was carved out of something frozen or ice. It's not cold to the touch. In fact, on the inside of the ring band, there's a layer of what looks like fur.
All right. Well, I will ritual cast identify
You have
a pearl. I don't know if I have a pearl. Do we have any pearls?
I don't know.
I
Where,
have-
where are you going to get some pearls?
I think I am able to cast identify because I have
Without
gotten no with it, but I think I've made it. I've spent money to make sure I have the component.
All right. I do not have the component.
But let me double check. Too many wizards.
Are you looking for the pearl of great price? Nobody else gets that. Okay.
I actually don't know that I do have one.
Well, then never
Let me
mind.
check my notes. I might not have put it in my thing.
We'll be looking for pearls. Oh my goodness, poor Chris.
Well, see,
He's bouncing. He's tired.
Mm.
Get you some tea, boy. Oh, he's a big guy.
Yeah.
I do not think I actually have a pearl. I don't have it in my notes, and I don't have my component pouch, which is where I'm putting the components that are required, not just the consumable ones. And so I don't think we've been able to find one yet.
All right.
I mean, if you have a component pouch, you can.
It won't work for the pearl because it's got a value.
Yeah, I've got it. The one.
Is it consumed by?
No, it's not. So once you have one, it's good. You're kind of good forever. It's kind of like the same thing for the diamond for like prismatic sphere or whatever. What the first one is?
Chromatic orb.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
It's got a value, but yeah, the things with the values
What
like
is
that.
what is the value associated with it?
100 gold piece pearl.
So, do you make noise about looking for a pearl?
I have not made noise about looking for a pearl.
I mean, you're in a fisherman's village.
That's true.
Oh,
All right. Well, then I would say.
Clams make pearls too.
That's
I-
true.
I would say if
Are
I.
they able to fish with the ice? Frozen
You
over?
could, but keep in mind, this fishing village has been here for
Wow, that's true.
a
Right.
couple 100 years, probably.
Yeah, we might not find anyone who has a pearl they got yesterday, but
Correct. Yeah,
they've had a while.
I would be very interested. Now, I don't have enough money to buy it on my own, but I'd be willing to go in on it with someone. That and the scroll components are the things I've been looking for. Yeah.
Right. Well, do you ask about it?
I do. I said, oh, I wish I had a pearl to be able to know more about it. There's a way to use it to understand more about this ring. And history.
Marta looks at you like quizzically, right? Like, how is a pearl going to help you know more about a ring?
it's stupid magic stuff.
Something about
Marta looks over at you and she goes, "That's the best way I've ever heard it put." She says, "I don't have one, but I know that if you were to go, there's a place in town. It's it's right by the water that is called the Blue Clam, and it's kind of a rough place, but Vernon runs it. He's a good guy. I bet if you ask him, you could probably get one, maybe two. I don't know. But if there's going to be anybody in town that has one, it'll be at the Blue Clam."
And is it still pretty ugly outside?
By this point, the blizzard is beginning to blow out, and it's heavy snowfall, which means it's dark and it's cold and it's snowing. But at least the wind isn't trying as hard to kill you as the blizzard.
Right. And how many hours of heavy snowfall did we have?
You had.
Because we were planning on heading out at light snowfall.
Yeah, you've got 2 hours of heavy snowfall. And
All right,
it wouldn't, you could probably make it there and back in, 30, 45 minutes. It's not that far. Tourmaline is not that big.
All right. I wouldn't mind going out, but I would also need, I don't have enough money, I think, to afford a pearl of this price.
You know what you have?
42 gold, unless we have a loot cap.
I think we spread out the loot in one of the last ones. Let me take a quick look. I have Laura, between the two of us, we could do it.
Okay.
I'd be pretty tapped out, but this is worth it for me.
Do you want to do?
Also, don't forget that we have barter, we have trade, and we have violence at our disposal.
That last one's very interesting.
I woke up this morning and I chose trade.
That took a hard right.
That was awesome. I love that.
That was great delivery there.
Yeah.
All right. What other loot?
There
do we
is
have with
actually
us?
a crap ton of coin loot in our loot thing that we might not. I might be thinking of the family campaign that we spread all that out.
Mhm.
Yeah, you are. We did
Yeah,
that.
I thought we were keeping like the loot in a single document that was just kind of like the loot.
Like loot and then a spreadsheet.
Yeah, so I've got the coin loot spreadsheet up. Right now, there's about 151 gold per person.
Oh, well, then we don't, because I have not.
Well,
Yeah.
in the interest of not having a shopping episode, because nobody likes shopping episodes.
I mean, as long as I find a purse to match my belt.
I don't know.
Right. I get it. And shoes have got to match too. They have to be perfect, but they have to go.
Mhm.
You're able to get it's kind of maybe a little misshapen. It's not a perfect pearl, but for Icewind Dale, it's an Icewind Dale 8. So
Yeah.
yeah. It's a water deep 4, but it's an Icewind Dale 8.
Okay.
And it'll cost you 100 gold.
There you go.
So that you do indeed get a 100 gold piece worth of pearl.
Woohoo!
So we're just taking violence right off the table as an option.
It sounds like it. Sorry, Jay.
Okay,
So
that's fine.
I think well, we just lost 2 of us. All right, can I take this 100 out of the party total?
Yeah.
Wow. Mm.
And I ask that because I'm assuming we will be using this pearl to identify stuff for the party.
I'm perfectly fine with that.
Okay.
Yep, that works.
And I'm the greediest one here.
We
so-
have 5 out of 7 voting yay. That's enough of a quorum.
Since
All
some
right.
even though
So,
there was a loot spreadsheet.
You make a update the spreadsheet. One of you figure out who's carrying it.
It is updated.
That's all.
And then do you wish now that you have
Yes.
a
Yes.
pearl, are you going to make a show of it? Like, are you going to like rub the pearl between your hands, like run it between your fingers, maybe make it dance between your fingers like a coin, do all kinds of stuff. And so you prepare yourself, you get your mind set to the ritual.
Yeah.
And you tap it with a pearl, or you hold the pearl up to your forehead, whatever. What do you tell me? What does identify look cast ritually?
Well, for me, it's I guess.
Interpretive dance.
Oh my.
Well, it is humming and almost like an attunement, but just looking at
Matching vibration.
matching vibration
That's
of
cool.
holding the pearl and weighing those two, having it kind of go back and forth in the light. And it is for people who have heard the unweaving spell, that's a lot like Toll of the Dead that I do, where there is a tone of unweaving. This is almost like there is a weaving in and out of the object that I am trying to identify. So something comes into it and comes out of it, and it kind of matches that vibration and hum.
So you stretch out your awareness, seeking that place of vibrational harmonic convergence that is the place where your mind intersects with what this item is. And you learn that this is indeed a ring of warmth.
Ooh. That's a nice ring.
That seems helpful.
Oh, and
So now that you have this knowledge, what will you do with it?
Tell her it's cursed, but we'd be happy to take it off her hands.
No, don't lie to people.
Martha, I know why this is inspired so much of a ballad and song. there's more to the story. This is a ring of power and a ring of warmth. Have you noticed that when you wear it, you do not get cold?
She goes, well, I know. She goes, you saw the chain that I put it on. She goes, I don't ever wear it outside because I'm afraid I'll lose it. So whenever I go anywhere outside of the east side, it's on a chain and not on my finger. She goes, maybe I should try it out.
I think you should, and I think this changes the story, don't you? That she gave it to your grandparents and they were somehow kept safe, but she was more vulnerable.
Does it require attunement? It does. You might want to spend an hour concentrating on it before you do.
She slips on her finger, walks outside.
Have you ever pondered the ring for
Right.
any length of
She
time?
walks back inside. This is bullshit. This ring is bullshit.
So my
She's had that. She's had that ring her whole life, but she only ever studies it for 59 minutes and then puts it down.
Right.
So my brother and sister for years have had magic items and different things, and they talk about some of them don't necessarily fit you until you kind of connect with them. Like my sister has this very cool belt and it's really big on her unless she spends time to think about it and connect it, and then it magically grows to the right strength or shrinks to the right size. So you might want to, if you're worried about losing it, maybe if you concentrate on it for an hour, it might shrink to the perfect size of your finger.
She just kind of looks at you and nods her head like, that I like your words, pretty talky person. Yeah, rings growing to match your size, like your sister's belt. Yep. Absolutely 100% believes everything you're saying. Make a persuasion check with advantage.
She also had a sword made of ice. Better at persuasion than perception.
All right, she kind of looks at you, and as you're talking, she kind of glances over at Siston a couple of times, and Siston has an honest face. You, not so much. But
I think the whole beard and boobs confused
it
people.
is. It's a little confusing. A little, not in a terrible way, but in a, well, that's unusual sort of way. And but she's like, I think maybe tonight after I close the inn up, I'll do what you say, and if you guys come back through here, I'll let you know how it worked out.
Awesome.
And so but by this time the snowfall has really eased up, and it is no longer the heavy, blowing, drifting. So it's more of a light dusting. It is the kind of snow that you imagine on a cold winter's night, and it's the kind of snow that eats all of the sound, and so it's quiet. And once you guys, assuming you are leaving Tourmaline, going to Lonely Wood.
Yes, but I want to say one thing to Marta before I leave.
Please do.
I gave you those berries and demanded no repayment, unless you profit from them, which is fine. But I do ask a favor. And then I describe the people who I believe to have kidnapped my family, and say, if those people ask after the Lamplighters, Tell them we went to Bryn Shander.
She looks kind of, her eyes kind of do that thing where you're trying to remember a visual, something that you saw.
I have that kind of face.
Right. And she goes, no, there wasn't a giant, but there were two women and a reindeer. They came through here 2 days ago. And I'm not certain, but I believe one of the women is one of those crazy oral people talking about the wrath of the Frost Maiden, and how this is because some god is trying to keep it cold or protect it, and saying that we needed to make sacrifices, and I could have sworn that was her. And I've seen her before. I've never seen the woman that was with her.
I pull out the locks of hair. Could these be hair from the women you described?
She looks at them. I didn't get a good look, but I do know that the woman did not have the raven colored hair, the dark hair. It could have been the auburn colored hair. It was not dark.
Thank you. Yeah, if anyone asked where the Lamplighters went, we went to Bryn Shander.
As you wish.
We went that way, George.
Right?
All right, yeah, let's, anybody else have business? If not, I say we go.
I'm good.
Let's go.
Okay. Well,
Croesus is ready to go.
you,
Kind of get Nancy cooped up.
you set out as the light snow begins to fall around 3 o'clock. It only takes you a couple of hours. You do notice that the trees have become bigger and darker as you kind of go into the more heavily wooded place where you make your way through the path on the way to Lonelywood. And you
Just out of curiosity,
uh-huh.
and I'm not going to use any magic for this, but when we get far enough away from the town that I think, a wild animal might be somewhere in the vicinity, I am going to do my best impression of the howl of the alpha wolf that, whose pack I semi-befriended, just to kind of see if they're in the vicinity. I don't know if there's a
Make
role for that.
a nature check.
I was hoping for animal handling, but okay.
Could it craft?
Yeah, you're maybe it was sleeping underground, but your alpha wolf howl actually
Do you do that thing where everybody gets inspiration once per session?
no, I don't.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
you absolutely, you sound less like a wolf and more like a cold chihuahua. So you're like,
Okay.
and you hear, probably luckily, no howling response.
Yeah, I don't think I want any one of them to have heard that. Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that's pretty bad. Although, if you got to roll a 1, that's not a bad place to roll a 1.
I mean, I think it is though, because like I want these wolves to be my homies. You never know where they might crop up again,
I just love the 1 and the 20. It just,
right?
Right? Success and failure.
And
The duality of broad.
and it's that it is a straight roll.
Right?
Those are the things, that's the beauty of that one as well.
So you actually do manage to make it through the path a couple hours later, kind of as the snow is actually given way to just light clouds. Still very cold, but for Icewind Dale, it's almost pleasant. The wind is blowing, but not howling. It's late afternoon, almost early evening as you make your way into the small village of Lonelywood, nestled amongst the trees of the forest. Can you guys see this cool map now?
Again, black.
It's flat.
That's just, oh, wait. How about now?
There we go.
There we
Yeah,
go. Okay.
I do have,
Light switch.
out of character, I have a question.
Lay it on me.
Well, this is actually for the group as a whole, not just for you, although you can answer as well. My dog is starting to make like,
Noises? That noise?
yeah. So do we want to take like a 10 or 15 here before we get into this?
Yeah, we absolutely should.
I'm gonna grab a snack and refill my beverage. I think that's a good idea.
All right, sounds good.
all right.
We will pause recording and reconvene at 9:15.
Perfect.
All right. I attacked the
Alrighty.
gazebo.
So
You
you
attacked the gazebo?
right,
Yes.
so
No.
you have finally arrived in the small wooded fishing village / logging camp that is Lonelywood. And as you make your way into town, kind of walking down this little road here, Broad and Croesus, give me wisdom checks, something.
Perception,
Yeah, perception, history.
insight.
Yeah, any of those. Something that, would indicate your knowledge of this place.
Oh, that's good. Good job, Croesus. Good job, Broad. We are the perception twins.
Very good.
Well, fraternal twins,
Right,
not identical.
Right. So neither one of you has been here in a while. You remember that sort of as you get closer to the waterfront, you know that the speaker's house is somewhere up here on the right, and then like when you get to the shore of Mayor Dualdon, just around the corner to the left is a big inn that's called the Ramshackle, and that's the inn that you remember in Lonelywood.
So we need to find out where these fuckers are. And some of you are better at talking to people than I am. And I'm better to talking at animals than any of you are. So I propose y'all go investigate the inn, and I go fuck off into the woods surrounding town and find something to talk to.
So
I would love to go into the nice warm inn. Yes, please.
So I'm wondering, go ahead.
I would suggest Baruch go with you, Broad. If you wouldn't scare things away, but just so you have a companion.
if I keep him and Hoot far enough from me, I think they will be close enough to assist if needed, but far enough away not to unsettle what I need to speak with.
Should we?
I just like splitting the party because it makes the DM happy because we're easier to kill.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Clearly.
Thanks for that. Okay.
Are there?
Anytime.
Okay. So
Am I muted?
team in.
Don's trying to say something, by the way.
I was just gonna ask, since we know there had been a giant type thing traveling with them, should we ask if anything like that's been cited?
But we also know that the Dwergar are capable of becoming giant type things, though they are not giant type things normally. So it's quite possible when they approach a town closely, they take care not to be
Okay.
giant type things. I mean, you can ask, certainly,
The
but
last people that we know who've seen them did not see a giant.
that's true.
But I mean, we can always also ask.
Yeah, so I'll bugger off to the woods with Varuk and Hoot, keeping a respectful distance.
Okay.
And then, drop down and ritually cast Speak with Animals.
When you find an animal to speak ritually with.
Well, I mean, it's 10 minutes. So I figure
Right.
if I find a place where I'm pretty sure, I hear some wildlife sounds, I see some tracks, then I will cast it and kind of start my search. But I mean, this has been a pretty me-focused episode. So if you want to start with the in folk before me, that's perfectly okay.
We'll start with team in. You make your way down it's a road. It's kind of a overstatement. It's a widened path through the wood. And as you get down here, you get to the shore of Mare Dualdon. And, you look to the south and you go to where Croesus, where you remember the Ramshackle Inn is, and the building is still there, but it is shuttered and boarded up.
All right, I would like to investigate it further to see if it's actually abandoned or if
Okay.
it's just pretending to be abandoned.
All righty. Give me investigation. If you wish to have some help, it probably would be a good thing.
I would love to have help.
Okay.
Someone like to assist me with investigating?
Literally anybody else.
Maybe the very smart wizards.
I can do that.
Yes, please. Please assist me. So I can roll with advantage.
Or,
Just do
Croesus,
it.
you kind of look at the building, you look at it closely, drawing upon your training and your keenly honed sense of investigation and fact gathering, and you're like, yep, that's a boarded up inn. Yep, that's exactly what that is.
I do break a couple of the windows to make sure that the boarding up isn't, I'm gonna call it faux, like made to look like it's boarded up, but maybe on a hinge with an easy release.
Well, Dalen, you do not have the trained and honed keen senses of someone that would, be able to look at something and make a good, say like a tactical appraisal of it.
Yeah.
But you are absolutely certain that this building hasn't had anybody in it in months, maybe even a year.
Good deal.
Yeah, like this, it's not dilapidated any more than any other building in Icewind Dale, but it is like there's no tracks in the snow. There's no like the only tracks in there are the ones that you guys just made. It is shut down, shuttered, had a going out of business sale, and you missed it. So, Croesus, you remember if you follow the shoreline up north, there's at least a couple of taverns. There's like a shop maybe, and then there's a tavern. You know that the shop is the Happy Scrimshander.
Scrimshander. That seems like awfully close to Brinshander.
It is, but
I think someone is
that
playing
would
off
be
the name.
a scrimshaw artist. But
Ooh,
there's that shop, and then right here, if you guys can see me pinging on the map,
I can.
there is the Small Tavern, collectively known as the Lucky Liar.
Oh, that sounds like a good place.
That does sound like a good place.
I mean, the adjective noun is always the tavern you want to visit.
Right, yeah.
Always go to the adjective noun.
All right. So I mean, it doesn't take a long time, and it's not hard to find, right? You make your way, following between the tree line and the I would say the water line, but more like the where the ice begins, and you make your way to the Lucky Liar Tavern. It's lucky and full of liars, maybe.
Allegedly.
All right. Well, when you walk into the room, you begin counting all the assholes in the room, and you're definitely not alone. That's right. I slipped in some Volbeat. I've slipped in a Volbeat reference right there.
I love it.
All righty. So there's like this is so you have Brinshander, which is the biggest town. And then you have Tourmaline, which is, not as big. And now you're in the sticks. If there's a bright spot in Icewind Dale, and there's not, but if there is, this place is pretty far from it. You've got fishermen and guys that are literally wearing flannel and have axes because they're woodcutters. Toboggans and beards. One of them starts to sing a song where he talks about the joys of being a lumberjack, and the rest of them like literally beat him down and make him stop. He goes, "But I'm a lumberjack, and I'm okay." And
does he sleep all night?
Right.
And
he works all day.
He can't work. There's no daytime here.
Yeah, right.
There's barely any daytime anyway.
And he eats his lunch, and then he goes to the lavatory. So anyway, so
no one in Icewind Dale knows the word lavatory.
That's right. That is very true.
Yeah.
So you get there, and there's the owner, operator, proprietor, barkeep. She has dark raven hair, and there's something about her that kind of like nudges in the back of your mind and says, she's not from around here. Right? Like she looks like she doesn't have the same, sort of genetic background that the rest of the people in this area do. All right. But she's friendly and she's nice, and she goes, "I'm Danae. Welcome to the Lucky Liar. Would you care for something to drink? Maybe you have a story to tell. We love stories here in the Lucky Liar." And one of the guys In fact, the guy that tried to sing his little song, he goes, "Yeah, you gotta have a good story though. Like the other day, I was in the woods and I saw a big white moose, and he started talking to me, and it scared the shit out of me. So I took my axe and I smacked him upside the head, and then he ran off. And he was like, 'Hey, that hurt. Don't hit me in the head.'" And the other guys look at him and like, "Are you going on about the white moose again?" The white moose is real, guys. Like, he's real. And he talks. He's a talking white moose. I know this for a fact. And then one of the guys over there, they're like, "Man, the last time you told this story, you said it was a reindeer." He goes, "Yeah, I saw a reindeer that talked too." They're like, right, Todd. Was he white? Well, you got to bring race into it. And he goes, "You're the one that said it was a white moose." He goes, "Oh, okay. Well, no, he was just a normal reindeer, and he talked too. I'm telling you, this forest is full of talking animals. It's like a fucking Disney movie up in this bitch, and I'm getting sick of it." And they all look at him because they have no idea what a Disney movie is. Neither do you, really, but apparently it involves singing and dancing and animals.
And all that.
And so, there, and she just kind of looks at all of you, and she goes, "And that's why it's called the Lucky Light." Ales for everyone, drinks. What are we doing?
Yes, please.
All righty.
Yes,
So,
an ale for me.
right, you are lightened by about a total of about like 2 silver for all of you. Ales are poured, brought to you right about the time you start to sit down and enjoy your ale and settle in for an afternoon of tall tales and blatant lies. A child like walks in to the tavern, and she's it's so you've seen halflings, you've seen gnomes. This is a juvenile halfling.
Oh,
Like, right, you're like, well, that's
Itty
odd,
bitty.
right? But she walks in and she looks around. She's got a big old smile on her face. She goes, "Hey, you guys were just checking out the ramshackle, weren't you?" And everybody kind of stops, and everybody, she goes, "My mom, Nimsy." And one of the guys goes, "You mean the speaker?" She goes, Yeah.
what else?
But she would like to talk to you guys at her house. Would you please join me and go back to Nimsy Huddle's home and hear what she has to say? I'm pretty sure it's an interesting proposition.
God, not another halfling threesome.
What does this regarding?
You're asking a small child to relate to you important adult business matters.
Yep. That's exactly what Croesus would do.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's just a memo line that goes with that email and was regarding, we have, and I say, we just have a friend we need to pick up along the way or let know where we are going.
She goes, "Well, Mom does know a lot about the comings and goings around here. I mean, we knew you were here and you haven't been here half an hour. So maybe come listen to what she has to say."
Croesus is kind of like
I would love to go.
looks at him and is like, anyone will know when I'm here. Look at me.
And she laughs and she's like, "Uh-huh. Yeah, you really suck in the self department, dude." And so, yeah. Do you wish to accompany her, or do you wish to ignore the small halfling child that
He's
is
just got ale. I'd like to finish ale.
And she
And
goes, "I'll wait."
He,
So
Croesus looks
put
at
a
the rest
pause
of the
on
party.
put a quick pause on that
Sure.
and go out into the cold dark woods. Give me a survival check, Mr. Broadyaga, if that's your real name.
Oh, what the fuck?
Dude, that's
Dude.
twice.
Roll something else.
Wow.
That's twice.
Good. So I swear to you, Roll20 does this some nights that you just get.
I mean, I do have Varuk and Hoot with me. Were neither of them assisting with the survival check?
You know, I'll give it to you.
I mean, I don't even necessarily need the crit, but come on.
Right.
This is my job.
Right. Curiously, you find fresh moose tracks, maybe fresh reindeer tracks, and you're not 100% sure because, you know, there was a blizzard yesterday or earlier today, but you're pretty sure you, like, near those tracks, you find what you think is human footprints.
Yeah, I'm not investigating that too closely. I mean, I want to make a note of what direction they go, but I'm more like listening for like birds tweeting or chipmunks, chittering in the trees, or, the weather ferret.
Well, the weather ferret only shows up when it's time for weather.
Okay.
Right.
Uh,
Really, although he is a ferret, he thinks of himself as a weasel. So he
That's
is,
fair.
in fact, the weather weasel.
Okay. But
Yeah.
yeah, I want to look for signs. I definitely make a note of that and where
Mhm.
I am and how to get back to here.
Yep.
But I'm more looking for, signs of just day-to-day woodland life because I suspect reindeer tracks.
How
heavily.
far out do you go?
I'll definitely spend. I'll go at least a mile outside of town. If I haven't seen anything else that looks like an animal I can talk to, or evidence of an animal I could talk to, maybe I'll consider going back. But at the bare minimum, a mile.
You do find some wolf tracks. They appear to be relatively fresh.
Then I will sit down. I will motion Varuk. Well, I'll just tell Varuk and Hoot to, stay 120, 150 feet, like obviously not very up close, but, close enough to keep an eye on me in case I scream like, oh shit, it's goblins come to eat my liver. And then I will sit down and ritually cast animal friendship. Not animal friendship, speak with animals. And call out in the language of the wolves, wolf brother, is there anyone who can hear my call?
Name that first one, Elias.
So it's you bay at the moon, which is again waxing gibbous. There's quiet for a few minutes, then off in the distance you hear an answering howl. Is it you, tall stinky one?
It is I of the dwarf meat.
He goes, yes, tall stinky one. We'll be there in a minute. I mean, to a wolf, you're pretty stinky. I mean, to other humans, you're probably pretty stinky, but definitely to a wolf. And stinky's not a bad thing. Meat smells good. A few minutes later, the familiar Alpha and his, three pack mates kind of wander up next to you, and they're like, I told you he was stinky. And they're like, yeah, but it's a good smell. I'm like, yeah, I know. But anyways, how's it hanging? I don't know. Whatever wolves say.
It is going well. I'm afraid I have no more fresh meat to offer you. However, there's 4 wolves total.
The total of 4 wolves.
Okay, I pull 5 good berries out,
Oh,
and I say, I know this does not look like much, but I promise you, it will sustain you. And then I take a wolfberry.
a wolfberry?
Uh,
So it's now a wolfberry.
yeah, let's just call them
You're
wolfberries. They're
consuming
awesome.
the flesh of wolves.
No,
trying to convince yourself.
It's like a dingleberry, if you know what I mean.
Right.
No, it's not.
Oh, no.
But on a wolf.
Oh,
He is not in this scene. Okay.
All right.
give me some animal handling. Let's
All right.
see here.
I take a good berry and eat it, and then
Mhm.
hold out my hand. Literally, like I will let them eat out of my hand if they will. If
All
they
right.
don't, then I'll set them down on
Give
the
me
ground.
a
23.
that's more like it. So, the alpha kind of looks and watches you, kind of leans in, kind of nuzzles at your hand a little bit. He's like, it actually smells pretty good. And you're like, yeah, but it's not meat. He goes, yeah, but wolves cannot live on meat alone. And the other members of the pack are like, we're going to have a meeting about you being
Yeah.
the leader if you say that again. And he goes, fuck off. And so he consumes a good berry and he's very pleased with this. He goes, that's pretty good. Surprisingly, I'm not hungry. The other pack members are like, yeah, we're definitely having a meeting about you. Wolves are always hungry. And the other wolves consume the good berries. And now you have some oddly satisfied, somewhat placated wolves that are,
Yeah, I repeat the entire spiel with the water scan in my, nest
Right,
kit
right.
band to.
Sure. So now you
But
have some well-fed,
technically-
well-watered, placated wolves. That
Right,
are
technically with good berry, they don't even need the water, but I'm still
technically
making the
right,
gesture.
but yeah, having to explain that to a wolf, you're already pushing your luck.
I have tracked those who took my packmate from me to this town and perhaps beyond. They traveled with a reindeer, I believe. I think I have seen the tracks of this reindeer. Do you know of any such party passing through these woods?
The reindeer, like, wanders around almost as if he's looking for something. He seems different. He no longer makes the noises that a reindeer does.
Uh-oh.
There were 2 bitches that went through, going back to the ancient building, or the ancient place of the moon. Like, not really, like, translation's a little rough, right?
Right. No, that's fair.
And sorry guys, wolves, female dogs are, yeah, okay. And so also when the 2 females returned, she met with her moose, who is very, very different. It is bigger and stronger and like the other pack mates, like you can actually see the like wolves and moose are not really what you would call natural enemies. If you guys have ever seen a moose is a big fucking animal.
Yeah.
Right.
Those are
Like,
frightening.
oh, okay. Well, these the pack leader, the words that he's using, and as he's doing it, like the other wolves are kind of like slinking back and like the big white moose is different and big. It is unafraid of ones like you, and he's kind of scary. Like we don't fear him, but we respect him. One of the pack-mates is like, yeah, you say you don't fear him, but
Do you know the place this pack calls home?
we do. For us, it would be maybe an hour from here. Wolves are not good with time,
That's fair.
right? But we can take you to the place of the moon.
I will return by nightfall with the rest of my pack to approximately this location, and then I would ask that you show me the
Okay.
way. And
So
I promise you,
we got a little bit of time. I think we're gonna go like find a rabbit or something.
that's fair. You have eternal friendship for your assistance. If you assist us with the violence that is surely to come, I promise you all the meat that derives from it.
You're not going to choose trade?
I'm trading violence for meat. This is trade.
That's fair.
Did it-
Wolves can get down with that.
And
We will-
again, I
We
mean,
will be around here, you know, making our evening prowl.
right. I understand it is a lot I ask. And if you do not wish to participate in the violence, that is fine. There's probably still going to be meat, but
Are you going to take down the moose?
if I have to, I'm going to do whatever it takes to reclaim my pack mates.
The wolves kind of look at each other, and one of them goes, I hear moose meat's pretty good. And he goes, well, all meat's pretty good. Yeah, but white moose meat from a talking white moose? Like, yeah, I bet if it talks, that makes the meat better. And they're like, yeah. So
I mean, the dwarves that you ate previously, they talked. Their meat was pretty
Sentient
good, right?
meat.
yeah, true.
Thank you again for allowing me to confer with you.
Well, what do you call yourself, stinky one?
I call myself Broad Yaga. What do you call yourself?
My nose name is Silver Nose. And he has like a very bright gray stripe down his nose. Now, you don't know much about wolves, but you
Yes,
do know
I
that.
do.
But well, okay. You know quite a bit about wolves by now. You know that wolves have a nose name and a tail name. The nose name is what they're known by to everyone. The tail name is the name only their family knows. And then there is their true name, which only they know.
Well, I hope I have played Bradyaga convincingly enough so far to know, for you to know that I would absolutely not ask about their tail name, much less their true name.
Right, right. No, you know that them giving you the nose name is a a mark of respect and friendship.
Yeah, I'm honored enough for the nose name. I
You're,
do not
you're
inquire
making
further.
friends with wolves. Later, there'll be music and you can dance with them.
That's fine.
All right.
If you want to, you can leave
Right.
your behind.
Right. You if you want to, you can leave your friends behind.
How's my joke, man?
All right. Because if your friends don't
Don't dance.
dance,
Yeah.
Especially with wolves.
yeah. All right. So put a pause.
Yeah.
Return back to the
And-
town. You've finished your ales, and you going with the halfling child? Yes? No? Maybe? You don't have to. It's cool.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, we are.
So she's like, you haven't seen anyone this cheerful in, a while, because, frozen dark hellscape. But she like almost kind of skips through the snow, and she leads you back around to the speaker's house. And as she opens the door, and she goes, "Mom, I found them." And she goes, "Oh, that's so good." And then she comes around the corner of the house. "Come in, come in." She's a little halfling woman. She's got a little apron on. You can smell something very tasty in the oven, right? And you all kind of come inside to her home. And she's, "Just a minute." And she comes around the corner, and then she comes around with a tray of cookies that are vaguely halfling shaped, almost like gingerbread men, sort of, maybe.
Yeah.
And so she looks around and she goes, "Well, hold on." And she's like, "Go, Scoop, bring the big people chairs." And she goes, "Oh, Mom, I don't want," and they carry on back and forth. A few minutes later, a few like medium-sized creature chairs are kind of pushed into the living room. It's not quite like Gandalf in Bilbo's place, but it's kind of like that,
Yeah.
right? Everything in this room is halfling scale, right? It is for them. This is her home, definitely. But she comes in and she goes, "Oh, I am so glad you came. I'm Lindsay Huddle. I am the town speaker of Lonelywood, and I saw you looking around the old ramshackle. So would you be interested in maybe becoming the owner of the ramshackle for, let's say, an exchange of services?"
What services are you looking to be performed?
She goes, "Well, since the winter has never gone away, our main business is logging. And without it, we're in bad shape. And our logs get carried all over the 10 towns, providing warmth and fires, but our loggers lately have been terrorized, I guess would be a way to put it, by a white moose. It's big and unafraid, and if you believe Todd, it talks, but I don't know if he also says that there's a talking reindeer. And I swear he's going to break out in some sort of song about letting it go any moment now. But the beast has eluded, right? The moose has eluded our hunters that we have sent out to kill it. And I'll be frank with you. We depend on the forest for our survival. And, well, I wouldn't be a very good speaker if I just let some big dumb, or I guess maybe if he talks not dumb, moose get the better of us. We don't have a lot of wealth, but since the owner of the ramshackle passed away, you actually hear Scoop go, since he departed, it has come to be community property, and well, we're looking, I think it would be a good investment. At one time, it was a, very profitable business. And you guys look capable. I think you could handle a big white moose. What do you say?
Well, we definitely.
You're muted, Robert.
You should be able to use these.
Oh.
Oh, he's talking to Robert.
He was talking
Sorry.
to Robert.
And you too, Laura.
Laura's muted because she's in the same room as my mic.
Mhm.
I think that we'd be interested. We're actually here on our own business. We're curious about a reindeer that we saw in other parts of the 10 towns, but also looking for some friends of ours. And I just give the description of Broad's sister and mother. You seem to keep a really good eye on what comings and goings. Have you seen them come through?
A reindeer?
Well, the reindeer, I'm sure we're looking around for anyway.
There is. She kind of looks around. Then she kind of leans in a little, almost like a conspirator, right? She's like, I think the moose and the reindeer both hang around that frost woman. And I haven't seen her in several days. And she doesn't always stay in one place, but when she does, it's in the old elven tomb, a few miles outside of town. If that's your friend who you're looking for, and the big white moose is normally with her, maybe you could kill two birds with one stone.
Tell me more about the frost woman.
Oh, Ravison, I think her name is.
That's her name.
Oh, about once a month, she makes her way into town, goes to the shore of Mare Dunaldon and makes some speech about how we should be praising our role and doing the will of the Frost Maiden and, making sacrifices, to her to keep her from like completely freezing this place to ice. Can't say she's ever done a whole lot of good. She kind of, like I said, she shows up sometimes once a month, sometimes, less frequently. Sometimes she doesn't show up for 2 or 3 months. But yeah, that's about all I know.
I'm just curious, have you seen any giants in these parts? We know that one was seen with the reindeer in other parts of the 10 towns. haven't seen one since.
Can't say that I have.
So in this talk of sacrifice that this Ravison woman makes, has anybody been sacrificed?
Oh, goodness, no, we're not barbarians.
Oh, good. It's not so everywhere we've been, just to let you know.
She goes, I know, and believe me, when we have the speakers council meeting, I bring it up, and well, not everyone feels the way I do.
Well, definitely guard against that. It is odd the way some people think that might help. But this sounds like it's something that we will want to look into at any rate. I know we want to find our friends who are traveling. It doesn't sound like this is Ravison, but perhaps some people who got caught up in Ravison's plan.
Could be. Like I said, I don't know that much about her other than that she shows up every now and then.
I pull out my very rough map of the area and kind of flip it over and pull out, some kind of pencil type thing and say, could you give me a basic idea of which way we would need to go to find this elven tomb? And I think our needs are aligning with respect to the moose and what we need to find. I'm not sure about the payment of the ramshackle because I don't know that we are in the mood to become proprietors, but maybe invested owners.
Sure. As the speaker, I have a few investment properties myself. She looks at the map and she says, well, and she kind of says, it should be in this area. And she points to kind of a place in the woods and the hills. It's about maybe an hour's walk through the woods. So maybe a little longer.
Further north and west?
North and east.
Oh, so if we came up from, let's say 4 o'clock, we're heading out at 8 o'clock?
Yes.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Well, okay then. Then we have an accord. Very good. Very good. And pause back to Bardaga. You head back into town? You're muted.
I am muted. Thank you. Yeah, I head back in with Hoot and Varuk looking for the rest of these people. Varuk and I conversing loudly in Giant about how we're so much smarter than everyone else we know.
Absolutely. Because it's true. You pretty easily make it back into town. Conveniently, right about the time the rest of the Lamplighters are making their way out of the speaker's home.
Yeah.
Go.
Bardaga,
All right.
we think we might have some information.
About a talking moose.
I look at Varuk and go, in Giant. Oh, they think they might have some information. And Varuk and I share a hearty laugh.
Rook's like, they don't know anything.
That's a good Varuk. That's a really good Varuk impersonation.
Dalen, what have you learned?
I explained that the halfling speaker mentioned that the woman Ravison is known to be reside near an elven tomb about an hour and a half to 2 hours to the northeast of here. Ravison was one of the names.
I know where she lives. There's a moose. There's a talking moose. We
Yep.
will kill it.
I think
Wolves will eat it.
Chris
I-
just smiles that you confirm the moose talks.
yeah.
Just this big, wide, teethy grin.
Maybe the moose sings and dances too. So you never know. That's why it's so terrifying.
As we move through these woods towards our target, I only ask that if you see a wolf, be not afraid, be wary, but before you strike, let me see if it's friend or foe. Because we do have wolf friends in these woods. But yes, the talking moose, the reindeer, this elven tomb, it all has to do with my sister. And she is going to come back to me. And I do not care who dies in the process.
As long as it's not like her or one of us, correct?
As long as it's not her.
Fair enough. Just try and reach exceeded to grasp, as they said. Looking up at the sky and the time of day, do you think now is the time to head out? I would rather make haste. We've been offered a payment that I don't believe you're particularly interested in, but I can explain it along the way.
My sister's life is all the payment I need, but bloop.
Yeah.
Ferret, what's the weather like?
Oh, also, Joe, sometime earlier I did a GM roll to you for my div rolls for the day. So if you want to scroll up and see them, or I can just tell you what they are.
Is it 8, 10, and 19?
No,
No.
it was 1 and 12.
Oh, 1 and 12. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's a sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, one's come in handy.
One's
Yeah.
coming real handy.
You could wreck
In fact,
someone's
I would rather
day
have a
with a
1
one.
than a 20.
Yeah.
Especially when
Yeah.
you're talking about saves. You're like,
Yep.
here you
For
go.
max user, yeah, I don't care about to hit all that often.
You're like,
So,
I
yeah.
made this for you.
It looks like a pile of poo, ain't
Right?
it?
Right? So you guys heading out to the Elven Tomb,
We
Right.
are indeed.
aka.
Let's go.
So you lead them back out to the place where you had your little wolf meet, and you know,
Sorry. Before we leave, I just want to go. I mean, I'm sure there's some kind of local butcher or something.
it is kind of late evening. You could try the Hefty Scrivener, Scrimshaw, Weaselator, the Happy Scrim Shander, which is a shop. You might be able to find something there.
I mean, or we can find inn that will like service like a hearty leg of lamb or something. I mean, I just want a big hunk of meat.
You could probably get that at the Lucky Liar.
I will go to the Lucky Liar and procure a big hunk of meat.
Well, you plunk down a couple of silvers for a big hunk of, do you want it raw or cooked?
Raw.
Raw. All right. You get a big leg of, I don't know, brontosaurus or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
big,
fair. What,
it's big, it's raw, it's bloody, and it's yours.
all right. When we get back to the place where I met with the wolves,
Uh-huh.
I'm again going to attempt a howl.
Well,
And then drop the meat.
before you even get the howl going, you hear the soft, quiet padding of wolves approaching, and before too long, Silvernose and his pack pop into the area, and they're like, "Hey!" Of course, they're
I
yipping
don't
at
have
you.
speak. Yeah,
All
I
right,
don't have
they're
speak with
yipping at
animals
you,
going.
and they're like making sounds, and you know, you I mean, yeah, they're making wolf noises.
I sit down in the position that I was in when I first encountered them, and I lay the meat in front of me. And I'm going to try to gesture to them like this, all these people around me, it's my pack.
Uh-huh. You know, wolves don't do sign language, right?
I mean, I know they don't, but at the same time,
Give me an animal handling check.
Ah,
16.
There you go. That they are puzzled as to why you're suddenly not talking, but you know, they're like, maybe he's being quiet for the hunt. Who knows?
You know what?
Uh,
I'll burn a spell slot. I cast animal or speak with animals.
All right. Silvernose is like, hey, Brad, you made it back. Right? Is that for us? Is that?
Silvernose, this is for you and your pack as you deem its division.
So
This is part of my pack with me.
keep in mind, they do not need to eat because of the good berry.
Right.
They are unable to resist the draw of fresh meat.
Of
And
course.
as you're talking, they're consuming loudly
That's absolutely fair.
with gusto.
This is my pack. Consider them as you consider me.
And they nod and he goes, you have a big pack. Very good. Are you ready to go to the place of the moon?
We are. Do you need water?
No, we are good. So
Yeah.
follow us. We will try not to go too far ahead of you. And wolves are very practiced at maneuvering through the wilderness.
Right.
They do more of a lope where they, you know, kind of go slow for a little bit, then they kind of pounce a little bit, then they kind of go slow again. So they're conserving their energy. But there's a small hill and a break in the trees, the tree kind of, you know, the tree foliage, tree coverage, the amount of trees becomes less. There we go.
Yeah.
It thins. That's what we're talking about. And I have a thing to show you.
Wow.
God, it better not be another dick pic.
Oh,
Nope.
God.
Dick York or Dick Sargent?
There we go. All right. So
Sergeant York.
Oh, what the what? Mind blown.
yep. So
What
you
just happened?
you make it through the trees and you
Molly wagon.
see this opening in the kind of like it's a
Tree line.
structure
Yeah.
hewn into the stone, and let's
It's a
see,
gnomon.
you've been following the wolves, and they lead you to a circular indentation in a snowy hillside. Rising from the middle of this circle is a triangular gnomon, a beautifully carved crystal. It stands about 20 feet tall. There's about a 10-foot high berm hugging the circle's eastern edge, as evergreens growing around and atop it, sheltering what looks like a sarcophagus buried under snow and enclosed by a half circle of pale blue crystal pillars. North of the berm is a delicately carved gazebo made of marble. South of the berm is a row of outward facing white marble statues atop granite pillars.
How long has it been that we've been trekking through the woods to get here? Since I last spoke to Silver Nose?
About an hour,
Okay, so Speak with Animals is not active.
right? Silver Nose, they kind of like they kind of yip and bark a little bit. They're excited. This is the place.
I pull out the black lock of hair and hold it out to Silver Nose.
He like sniffs at it, looks at you expectantly.
I do the what I'm hoping is the universal signal of, huh?
They're like, kind of look at each other, kind of look at you again, suddenly mystified why you've lost the ability to communicate with them. But they begin to kind of walk towards the statues, kind of softly padding through the snow. What is the weather like? What is the weather like?
I mean, I asked you less than 24 hours ago. So
Yes,
know.
yes, you did. You asked me just a moment ago. This is Flame Rule the 13th. And there is a light cloud coverage. And it's going to be that way until the evening. Then it'll be overcast. Then it'll be storm clouds. Then it'll be lightning clouds. Then storm clouds and overcast. Hailstorm, blizzard, whiteout, light snow dusting.
Good Lord.
Nice.
Yep.
My sister is here. I am not leaving without her.
I would like to do some preparation before we approach this place. And do you have any history of it? You said your knowledge of it was somewhat surprising to me, but I didn't want to question at the time. Do you know of this place? Do you know of its history? And I started down into an area and using the shaped snow cantrip kind of pat me down an area to begin a ritual casting.
I know only what Silver Nose has told me. And then I point to Silver Nose.
Oh yeah.
That's the wolf.
Yeah.
More talking to animals.
Are you able to talk to them right now? Did I hear you making wolf noises?
No,
Okay.
Given 10 minutes, I could, or I could just.
I'm about to take 10 minutes to cast one, so if you want to, I would like to get a little bit more intel of like, do they know what happens to people who visit this place? That I'm looking at the statues or those guardians of some kind. I'm pulling out the stuff that y'all would have seen me before pull out to cast detect magic as a ritual, because it'll run for a while, and so maybe I can detect if there's any kind of magical traps or whatnot.
If he's ritualing, then yes, I will ritually cast Speak with Animals.
You guys ritual it up.
All right.
Love it.
As soon as I'm done, I'm like, Silver Nose, thank you for guiding us here.
It is
Your
our
pocket
pleasure.
mine.
It is our pleasure to engage in the thrill of the hunt.
The
Oh, go ahead.
The raven-haired one. She is here.
I
pull out the black hair lock just to be completely sure we know exactly what page we're on.
He's like, we haven't seen her.
Have you smelt her?
Her scent is very, very faint. There is a stronger scent of two others like her.
Two others like her.
The other humans that were traveling with the, unless you're articulating this out. kind of-
No, this is just
Okay.
like
Okay.
Why does he go a woo? I don't understand.
we may be Silver Nose about to go into battle together.
Okay.
And if that is the case, I want you to know.
But I love you and I've always loved
Exactly. Now,
you.
Brajaga is a moniker I gained when I left my home. What they called me prior was Fannin. Fannin Panscriven. That is my given name. And it is an honor to know you.
He bows and says, my tail name is the ghost who hunts.
I am honored you would share that with me. All right.
All right.
What's Don doing? And
As
what's everyone else doing? I want to kill some.
soon as the detect magic spell goes into effect, I'm going to make a kind of a circuit of the, getting in with visual detect magical range of the statues.
All right.
Detect magic has a range of 30 feet. I'm going to look at the little, I don't know, it looks like a little fireplace thing off there to the right, and make sure I walk up to the rise to where I can gaze in at the gnomon, the sepulchre, the pillars around it. Just look for anything radiating magic. I'm
So
assuming
you, as you cast it, and you begin to walk around, and you kind of get close to the elven statues. There are 6 elevated white marble statues. They're arranged in a line, evenly spaced apart. They depict slender, robed figures facing northward. Their expressions have been worn away by time, but the pointed ears make them easily identifiable as elves. There is a faint aura of abjuration magic around each statue.
Joe, are any of these statues ringing any bells for me?
No, they're statues. They don't move.
What?
No.
No. Okay.
And Joe, thinking of my knowledge of the area based on the Covenant's mission, would I know of an elven outpost or an elven land up here? And would I have
Give me a history check. And like make it real good. Yeah. I mean, those statues look elven.
Okay.
I mean, this construction is kind of graceful. That looks, elven, elvish. Are you guys on the map now?
Yeah, I see the map.
Oh,
Okay.
I do not. Let me go look.
It's zoomed
I
out.
mean, I'm going to be near the front though, is the only thing.
Oh, I'm there, but it's completely dark for me.
Huh?
I see my icon, but it's completely dark for me. My token.
So Joe, let me know if this triggers anything, but I intend to run to the top of this staircase.
You're not emitting light, Don. That's why you're not seeing anything.
All right.
You're going to run to the top of the staircase, like all the way up it?
Right here, where I'm pinging is where
Okay.
I'm going.
All right, move your token there.
I intend to run there. Hoot will not be far behind me
Okay.
because she loves me. And I get to the top of the staircase and scream out, Finra, are you here? Finra, Finra. Yeah, we're not
Croesus
stealthing this mission, by the way.
finds some place to like take a bit of cover from.
So you kind of you make your way to the top of the stairs, and you hear like around the circle. So you hear from over here in this direction, you hear the sound of stone scraping on stone.
I draw my bow, I pull out an arrow and knock it and begin walking forward while still screaming for my sister.
Joe, I'm gonna go ahead, if it's this dark, I'm gonna go ahead and cast a light spell because I literally can see nothing on this map.
Okay. So you guys get wait, where are you? There you are.
I only moved myself 5 feet from my previous position.
Bright light, low light. What is it? 20 and 40?
Yeah, 20 and 20.
20 and 20. All right. So 20. And
So I guess it's actually 40 on the other one because I don't think it's additive. I think it's total.
we'll get there.
Okay.
But is that better?
That is much, much better. Thank you, sir.
What is it? Control shift to do the no. Control click to do the vision of a selected?
Oh,
No.
you highlight me and hit Control L.
Control L. Okay. Very good.
So the statue's registered abjuration. Did the little beer burning the little thing there? Anything around there?
You mean the sarcophagus right here?
No, the little thing.
Oh, that thing right there. I don't know. Does it? That is the marble gazebo.
Okay.
It does not emanate any energy.
And then I walked over to here initially before he ran up the stairs and looked at the
Broad, make a perception check with advantage.
The sarcophagus in the pillars around it to see if anything there or the gnomon radiated any kind of magic.
18 with advantage.
You see walking around here, getting closer to you, a middle-aged woman, red hair. You could swear maybe you hint green eyes. She kind of staggers towards you. She's not moving very quickly. And she kind of has her arms outreached. And in this moment, you are certain that this is Annalisa, your mother. And she kind of makes her way. She goes, Fannin?
Mother, where's Finra? I have an arrow knocked and pointed at her at this moment, by the way.
Yikes.
She goes, I still can't believe you're alive. Finra kept your secret hidden well.
Where is she?
The giant gorilla. She took her and they sent me with this other woman. She made me drink something and I volunteered to be the one to give you the message. I would not let Finra take my place at this. Oh, I feel so sick after drinking that, but I made it to you. This
What is the
Gryla,
message?
she said you knew what they wanted. And to get Finra returned to you, you have to bring what they want to the sacred place with the black rock on the last night of Saloon's fullness, which is about 4 days from now.
Oof.
And she is having, you could tell she's having problems standing. She goes, Fannin. And she just breaks down. She starts crying and she collapses to her knees and is shaking.
Siston?
I send Hoot to go over to her and comfort her, but this sounds like bullshit to me, so I keep advancing.
Okay.
New healer.
Blues check her out, maybe medicine check.
So where is she? Does she have a token that I'm not seeing?
She doesn't, but I will give you one. Doo, doo, doo.
She's probably up. Was she up kind of over by the sarcophagus?
I think she was over here
Oh,
ish, I think, but let's wait for Joe to make the final determination.
Yeah. I'll get it. Ghost, ghoul, giant goat. No, none of those.
Yes, make my mother a giant goat, please.
I mean, you know,
all time.
lich. There we go.
What's up, liches?
Right.
Rod, should I go and heal her?
Probably. Let's see where she is and what's going on.
All right.
Yeah, I sent Hoot to Hoot can't do anything for her, but he can protect her if anything shows up. Or
She makes
can.
it to this far before she collapses.
Okay, yeah, I send Hoot to watch over her. If she needs healing, then yeah, obviously Hoot can't provide that.
All right. I will move up and do a cure wounds.
I'm still screaming out for Fenra.
She goes, she coughs. She looks a little better, but Siston, give me a medicine check.
Oh, okay.
Great roll.
You notice the traces around the corners of her lips of some viscous liquid that's kind of frozen. You also see that her eyes are red rimmed and there are actually frozen tears along the bottoms of her eyes. And she says, Finra isn't here, Fannin. The giant walked through a tree with her.
How long ago? How long did you walk through the tree? An hour, 5 seconds, 2 minutes?
Yeah, yesterday she arrived. She came out of nowhere. Gave me the choice of being useful one last time or just dying. And then she left with Finra and said, bring what they want to that place with the black rock. The last day of Saloon's fullness. Siston, you are aware that she has been poisoned.
Right, Yaga, it is time for truths between us here. What do they want?
Me.
I am walking. I ignore you. Sorry, Dalen.
That's fine.
Where is Sandalphon?
Right.
I walk over to Sandalphon. You're what they want. Are you ready to go and kill anything between me and my sister.
I'm not going to say anything because I do not deal with absolutes, but I am willing to kill almost anything to stand between you and your sister.
That's good enough for me. Do I know the place they're talking about, Joe?
Is it the cairn? Is the top of Kelvin's cairn, the black altar?
I mean, Sandalphon is painfully aware of where it is,
Yeah. I
Yeah.
know.
and you've been
I-
there,
I know what they want.
and you know where.
Oof.
You got
I
3
know
days to
where.
get there. Siston, you are pretty confident that without some sort of antidote, and Lisa is going to die in the next 4 to 5 minutes.
All right. She's been.
Oh,
But I don't
shit.
think a healing can help her. Does anyone have anything, a reagent, a cure of some kind? I have nothing. Nothing.
I can build up I can help make her resistance more successful, but not necessarily guaranteed.
Yeah, I think there's something in my spell list, but I don't have it prepared.
I'm checking my
Uh,
inventory.
I don't
Wait a minute. Do we have a paladin?
I don't. I have healing hands as a racial trait, but I'm not a paladin.
Shit. Paladin would be so awesome right now.
Cure it with 5 hit points. That's the only, like, light, and that is really the only magic I can do.
Right. No, that's fair.
My other character could help.
Yeah, I have characters that could absolutely help, and Broad is not one of them. Or at least he doesn't have the
I
correct
think we
prepared
all do.
spells.
Yeah.
We all have characters in this universe that could.
Yeah.
I mean, Red's just like, I'll eat her when she dies. It's cool.
Bannon, your mother is looking at you with pleading and desperate eyes. She
I
said,
run over to her.
I did everything I could.
Joe, I run over to the gazebo. Is there coal? Is there charcoal in the base of the whatever's burning there?
In the brazier?
Yeah.
No.
Is there charcoal? Is there any kind of fire? Like any kind of place where someone's had
Oh,
a
wait a minute. Maybe there is. It is an unlit stone brazier. It is full of snow and pine needles that the winds have swept away.
The charcoal?
no charcoal at the bottom?
No charcoal at the bottom.
I don't have 4 minutes to create charcoal. I can get a hot fire.
I mean, I can breathe fire.
Burnt, give me charcoal. We can cool it down quick in the water.
Snow,
Yeah, burn stuff up cold. Give me coal as quickly as possible. I start grabbing up
Yeah.
snow. And
Give me something to burn.
There's pine needles right here.
We wood.
Well,
We're-
Pine needles will burn away. They won't make charcoal.
All right, there's wood. We're in the forest.
Chris.
Grab up stuff.
create
Yeah,
long
it's
fire.
super easy to gather up some twigs.
Okay.
Give me.
We're gonna need your message.
I'm saying.
All right, who's gonna be? You're going to be preparing the charcoal. You're going to be getting it together, and I assume you're going to let Siston administer it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I'm gonna cast bless on her right now. That just helps with saving throws.
And I'm just gonna be ready that if she starts looking faint, I'm gonna do healing hands to try and just give her keep
Keep her.
keep getting her hit points and stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm on hit point watch as well, but I'm just basically talking to her as this goes on.
Dalen, give me an
So-
investigation check.
I'll cut down.
Croesus, give me a don't fuck this up check.
Got an 8. Yes, that's
My plan.
I mean,
Is
you're in the
to-
woods. It's easy to find.
Oh, okay.
So my plan is to cast Dragon's Breath on myself to give
Mhm.
myself a minute's worth of fire breathing.
All right. Well,
So I can
Dalen
create
is
as
able to
much
find
charcoal
enough
as
wood.
possible.
Give me a roll of some sort.
You tell me what to roll and I'll press the
your
button.
maybe Arcana or Intelligence to time your breathing correctly to not burn the thing up.
How about charisma, since that's my spellcasting ability?
It's your spellcasting ability. You're doing the spellcasting. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Don't
Did I
fuck it
roll
up.
that?
Yeah, you
Don't
could
fuck it up.
All right, that did not go. Okay, I need to press the wrong other button. Press the D&D Beyond button. What was it? Charisma 11.
We're not
You
going.
you char the wood. I mean, it's dragon's breath. It's fire. You think there's definitely some charred wood in there.
I pull a chunk of it away and just tell them to keep going. I stick it in the snow for a second and then pull out a dagger and just start scraping the whatever got charred on the edges into a bucket or it's something that I can start gathering
Your
into.
bowl that you
Yeah.
have for your
Yeah. And as he's making more, I'm scraping what I can in there, breaking it down into pieces and putting snow in there so it melts together so it could be drunk. And I start handing stuff off to Siston.
Yeah.
I feed Mom a good berry
Ooh.
while promising her that whether or not she lives, I will recover Fenra and kill everyone responsible for this.
So what did your bless do?
A saving throw, if it's having to make any saving throws against poison.
Oh, that's
Said
awesome.
I knew you would keep that proud head of yours. Give me a medicine check with advantage.
You got this, please, please, please. Mom, be the good roller like you always are.
Yes! Yeah! Hey!
I can roll again.
No, that's plenty good.
Yeah. Good.
Siston, with a prayer on your lips to your goddess, you know that the magic that you know inherently, you don't know, you're hoping that this will work, and you put together the tiny pieces and you crumble it up so that she could swallow it, and you kind of feed it to her. You add some water from your canteen, and you swear you could feel a guiding touch in the weave around your fingers. And she coughs. She looks much less deathy.
Nice. Thank you, everyone, for keeping my mom from dying.
So charcoal.
The only other thing I think of is because he got lamp.
Well done, everyone. Well done.
I immediately, once I know my mom is not going to die, I immediately burn a spell slot to cast Speak with Animals and call out for Silver Nose.
He plods up a few minutes later.
Silver Nose, this is my mother.
He bows respectfully.
See her safely back to the human settlement. I go to avenge her and reclaim my packmate, my sister. Will you do this for me?
It would be an honor. The mother we share for all of us, as we all have one, it is an honor to take care of and protect your mother.
I kneel before Silvernose and hesitantly reach out to like give him a semi hug, like whatever. Once I feel that he's being uncomfortable with what I'm doing, I stop doing it. But
mean,
you know, a pat, ear scritching, whatever I think he's comfortable with, I do.
Well, he is a very proud leader of a pack of wolves.
Right.
So he's definitely not a hugger.
That's fair.
But he
Right. I'm trying to
he's
suss out.
also a canine,
Yeah.
and he knows how to act like a canine, and his tail wags a little bit,
Oof,
and he's
not a
very
good
good. But maybe that's enough. Little scratch between the ears, and so they will do that. And this right here is where we're going to end.
That's fair. I just tell mom, like, these wolves will escort you back to town. I will find my sister.
She's still kind of in shock. You're not 100% confident that she's going to, even guided by wolves, that she's going to make an 1.5-hour journey through the frozen wilderness back to the little town of Lonelywood.
I give her all my remaining good berries, which is 4.
Mhm. She's also in rags, basically. Like, she's physically beginning to shiver.
I also give her 25 gold pieces.
That's
to,
cool. Can she eat
provision
those up and
herself.
maybe not freeze to death on the walk back?
No, I can't do anything about that. She's got food. She's got money when she gets back to town. She has a wolf escort. That's all I can do for her.
I think I can probably at least wrap her feet in some kind of cloth. Luckily, it's so cold, it probably won't melt and get her feet cold.
Yeah.
So she should be okay with that. I don't have a whole lot of, I have the clothes I'm wearing, but I don't have a lot of extra heavy stuff for her.
I have a disguise kit, so I probably have like some extra clothes.
Yeah, we'll call that good.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know how you guys are intending on scampering off, but it's literally an 1.5 hours back to town.
Well, I guess the question is, the way we probably want to go is actually through Tourmaline and then go cross country to the Cairn.
Mhm.
But yeah, the direction. No. So we're an hour north and east of Lonelywood. So it probably actually would make sense to go to Lonelywood and be able to take the roads to Tourmaline and then maybe cut cross country to the Cairn.
Okay.
Well, here's the thing.
Uh-huh.
We have a week to figure it out.
Yeah.
That's true.
And we have those of you Broad, especially you being of the Druish persuasion, that this is the 13th. Selene is waxing gibbous, and the last night of the full moon is the 17th. So you have
That's
the 14th, 15th, 16th, and 17th. The night of the 17th is your
Let's go
appointed
time.
time.
Okay. Also, obviously this doesn't matter until we actually level, but tonight's events have absolutely cemented which druid circle I'm joining. Which is
Circle of the Moon.
nope,
No?
nope.
No?
Circle of the Shepherd.
Ah.
Which basically gives me permanent speak to animals.
Oh,
There we go. Okay. I
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah.
I
Broad
like it
is
a
all
lot.
about like, you animals are my friends and we gonna talk.
I really like to see the development of that, like the People are not so comfortable about around, but you animals, you're where it's
The
at.
the progression is good.
Yeah.
I like it.
No,
Yeah, I've
So
really
now the
appreciated.
real question is, are you just
Silver
gonna
Nose.
like shove Sandalphon onto the old altar rock and
Oh.
let him have her?
Oh, God, yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, absolutely not. I am going in to kill everything that's not my sister and rescue my sister.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're not, even if we were going to trade Sandalphon, they weren't gonna get out of there alive.
Yeah.
I don't.
Right. I mean, we might go for a bluff like, here's Sandalphon, but
Yeah.
that bluff is only going to be so we can fuck them up.
Okay. All right. Let me get these restraints. Chewy, put these on.
So
I mean,
while we were traveling back, you can just see Sandalphon is just kind of just sullen and just kind of like almost looks like when they're in a rage, but not quite there, like trying to keep it down, and just like is like holding their great sword in front of them, almost like chewing on it, just like
So,
I'll draw back and talk to Sandalphon. You okay?
they kind of avoid you a little bit. Like you draw back and they just kind of stop and walk backward just a little, like watch you a little bit, just kind of like and if you keep going up, just gives you like a one, like give me a minute. And then like 5 minutes later they'll come up to you.
Yeah. I won't pursue when you drop back. I'll just kind of shrug and keep going.
I think I have a spell that would let me make myself look like
Ooh. Let's send the squishy character in.
No, I'm saying just as a distraction.
Oh yeah, that could help. I mean, I think they can tell what's me, but yeah.
Yeah. So
Go
if we're going back to Lonelywood, I'll carry Mom.
Yeah, it pretty much makes sense to hit Lonelywood.
Right.
Honestly, looking at the map, I'm assuming there's a cross-country way to the cairn, but looking at the map that we had before, it could be across mountains. It might actually be better to go south, to go north.
Those the area between Lonelywood and Tourmaline that gets to Kelvin's Cairn
Yeah.
is like foothills. It's definitely not mountains.
Okay. Okay.
Kelvin's Cairn is the tallest geological feature for quite a ways.
Right.
So approaching from the east, south, or west is essentially the same. Approaching the cairn from the south, approaching it from the east, approaching it from the west is basically the same kind of overland.
So I would like to make a very meta point before we get all juiced up, is that wait, that's actually impossible. Shit.
What'd I do?
Well, no. Know that transport via Flance is a 6th level spell.
Yeah.
So
That's for standard characters. There are things that could exist in the game that might have gotten a different way. Maybe they have an item, maybe they had a scroll.
It's a 5th level spell. Tree Stride is 5th level. Because Brain Wheel
Yep.
and
what is it?
it's out. Tree Stride is 5th level.
Tree stride.
Oh, okay.
Tree
Well, I
stride
was
is
looking
fifth
at
level spell.
transport via plants, which lets you
Yeah.
use any plant.
Oh,
Right. No, tree stride is 5th level. So it doesn't matter. We're going to go and we're going to kill some people and we're going to get my sister back.
yeah.
And so we don't seem very interested in this tavern. Are we okay with giving my mom the tavern?
Yes.
I
Okay.
mean, you haven't shown up with the carcass of a white moose yet, though.
That's
Oh,
right.
we will. We will. Don't worry.
Eventually.
Yeah, we might want to find out if the white moose is in the area.
I'm not afraid.
I had to do something to get you guys bloodlust up. I feel like
I
we
like-
hadn't had any combat in like 6 weeks.
That's
So
fine.
Because we haven't played.
We haven't played in 6
yeah,
weeks.
yeah, I know. But
Pretty helpful because I keep having like a lot of homework.
Dude, I had all kinds of stuff. So if it
Dude.
worked out, it worked out.
I mean,
dude,
I mean-
trust me, I have been working my ass off.
Yeah.
And I mean,
No, I
I'm here
think
to
we
tell
all
you,
have.
this whole having to fucking work all the time stuff fucking sucks.
Yeah.
I'm used to
Yeah.
like
No,
maybe having to
I-
work like 4, maybe 5 hours a day, and then kind of, like paint some shit, work on D&D. Yeah, no, I've been working like 8, 9, 10 hours a day. It's ridiculous.
No,
It's like
no,
real work.
today I worked 5 hours straight, which
Oh,
I work more than that in the average day generally, but I worked 5 hours straight and I was like, what the fuck is going on?
And you didn't have to work tonight because they screwed up your scheduling again.
Exactly. Even though tonight's work would have literally taken like 10 minutes.
Yeah, yeah. Joe, what
So-
is your address?
so we have. So you're going back to Lonelywood. We shall end at Lonelywood on the 13th.
Yeah, we're dropping mom off at Lonelywood. I will do everything I can to make sure she is secure and safe.
I say we take her just to the speaker,
Right.
saying we're
I
on
mean,
case, and that person seemed very caring. They make cookies.
right. I remind you, I've dropped off 25 gold pieces in my mother's care.
That is very true.
I mean,
Made her another target.
she should be perfectly okay. Plus, my wolf pack homies know who she is.
This
So
is
if she
true.
somehow wanders outside of town, they might be able to help her, give her some protection.
I don't
I-
think
I've
she's
done
going
as-
to be the wandering type.
I don't think she is either. I just would like to say I've done as much as I think I can to leave my mom in this town with reasonable confidence she'll be
So
alive when I
the
come
the
back.
only real place to have lodgings is actually in the speaker's attic, and because once the ramshackle closed down, she saw an opportunity and opened up a side hustle.
Yeah,
And so
That's fair.
yep, so you can with the 25 gold, she'll be well taken care of pretty much as long as she wants to stay there. I mean, within reason, a couple months.
Plus, I will. I have one more spell slot, and I will seriously walk into that town with Silvernose and talk to the speaker with Silvernose. And if I have to burn a slot to speak with animals, and be like, and if you fuck over my mom, this wolf will destroy your town.
Don't do that.
Single-handedly.
It's not threaten people. I think the carrot is enough. I don't think we need to bring out the stick.
Yeah, I don't know
Okay,
that the wolf's
that's
going to
fair.
follow you into town, man. I mean, respect is one thing. That's but might follow you in, or you just might
That's
tell
fair.
it.
I still.
Also, for that matter, your mom now has a pretty amazing story to tell. The legend
that's true.
grows.
I
And
mean,
you
okay.
guys got a few days. Maybe you could grind out a level before you go facing the druid princess.
Oh,
I would love to grind out a level, but
Um,
All right. If we've stopped for the night, I want to stop for the night.
Yeah, we are.
'Cause I got to
yeah.
fly tomorrow.
yeah.
Yep. Anyways, guys, hope it wasn't too railroady. It was a
I
little
like that we
railroady.
got. Sometimes you got to get us to where we need to get to. This was great, and I actually like the character development that happened too, man. This was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I liked it. I apologize if it was a little too me focused. I
Yeah.
feel like it kind of was, but
Dude, the name of
I-
the episode was The Mother We Share.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I really like how like I have developed kind of a rapport with a wolf pack that
Yeah.
feels very up my alley.
and that was and that, sir, was the result of a roll on a random encounter table.
Nice. Oh, those are cool.
It was like next thing down on the list was a banshee, and I'm like, oh, let's not. That's going to be a little
No.
harder to make friends with.
Hate banshees.
No, I mean,
Nobody likes
that's,
banshees.
that's how shit works. But
Yeah.
yeah, I really enjoyed tonight.
Me too.
I hope everyone else did.
I did.
It was fun.
I did.
I'm sorry I was out for like the big drop of like the reveal of everything. I was like, I have to go to the restroom again. And I came back and they're like, they want you. And I was like, oh, I missed that. But of course they do.
All right,
Yeah.
Everybody wants me.
so you can unmute.
Man, I was all set up for some like true inter-party conflict here. Try to set up a good gray morality for, like Jay is just much better at than I am. But you guys need to figure out who you're facing.
It
What
doesn't
they're
matter
doing.
who we're facing. We're just gonna kill them because I have my sister.
Assuming they keep their word.
They get a plan. They get a plan. However this looks like. They get a plan. There are ambush.
Hey, you
for
know
us.
what?
I mean,
Maybe during the course of all this, you'll find out exactly what it is they want Sandalphon for.
I will
maybe.
say Joe Sandalphon is gonna try their hardest with the limited access to magic that they have, using their connection to the Feywild and such to try to contact their sister, their brother, their Uncle Knox, Uncle, whatever Knox's mother's name is that I'm forgetting the name of.
Aurora.
Really?
Aurora.
Yeah.
Heliotrope. Like Sandalphon every night is gonna like go through and like kind of do like the who's got their phone? Let's call the landline. Let's call theirs landline.
I would point out to you, and Joe, you have no way of knowing this, but I think it was the first, maybe the second session of this group's D&D life in Horde of the Dragon Queen, where I disguised self as a halfling dickhead and brought two members of the party to some dragon cultists as quote unquote prisoners as they were trying to use a battering ram to get into a church where some refugees were. And just kind of those prisoners that I brought grabbed the battering ram and killed the captain of the guard by skewering him against the wall with said battering ram.
Oh yeah.
We are well versed in the I'm bringing you some prisoners.
You're like, it's almost a trope. Oh,
yeah.
You want to do a prisoner swap, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So if these guys want Sandalphon, we will bring them Sandalphon.
Mhm.
Why isn't Sandalphon bound? Oh, because Sandalphon just agreed on her own volition to come here.
I'm
Mhm.
very sad that everybody keeps getting hurt because of me. So I'm giving myself up. Don't pay attention to the great sword.
With
No,
this?
I'm just
Oh,
giving
no,
it
no,
to you.
this is what I eat dinner with. Yes. Mhm.
This is my knife.
I can't surrender unless I give it to you.
No, the events of tonight's game have absolutely cemented that I'm going Circle of the Shepherd.
I like it.
Yeah, so here is when he hits second level,
Second.
Druid.
Oh yeah. Second level druid.
here's what he gets: Speech of the Woods. You learn to speak, read, and write Sylvan. Yeah, that's nice. In addition, beasts can understand your speech, and you gain the ability to decipher their noises and motions. So basically, the whole shit I was using Speak with Animals to perform with
Mhm.
Silvernose tonight, yeah, I could just do that
Yeah.
automatically.
That'll be nice.
Mhm.
So the concept of the nose name and the tail name and the true name comes from, and I just pulled this right directly out of my ass.
No, it was cool though.
Have
I
you ever?
liked it.
There's a book called Tail Chaser's Song,
Yeah.
and it has the two best names for cats ever: Rumblepurr and Quiverclaw.
Nice.
Nice.
I like it.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that was I kind of took that a little bit and ran with it, but yeah, you don't even know the other pack members' names. You're like, you just totally just ignored them. They feel hurt. I mean,
No,
they're
it's
betas,
okay.
so it's doesn't matter. But
We'll get to them. We'll
Yeah,
get to
right,
them.
right.
Like I said, eventually Speak with Animals is just going to become like a thing I do. I will probably drop that spell from my prepared spell list because I can just talk to animals. But
and you
I'll
know
need to
what?
gain a
We're gonna
level
give
for
you
that.
does that mean you get like an official Disney princess dress, and you can oh, you need some mice. You need like some mice to like show up and help you dress every morning.
So Jay, do you want to do the talk at the end?
What talk do you want? Yes, I'm definitely free if you want to talk.
Ugh, Harper's sitting on my arm.
Oh,
So
Harper, you're amazing.
I love her. So I will kind of come back up to you after I like shoo you away for a second and just go. It's not. It's not fucking fair that other people getting hurt for something I don't even know why they want me. If I had done something, maybe this would feel different. Maybe I would feel more guilty, but I'm just angry. I was just there. I don't know what happened. I have no memory of what happened. And now other people are getting hurt. Because.
I'm sorry, Sandalphon.
I
am.
You should not. I'm the one who should. I'm sorry for what has happened to your mother and sister.
It's fine. I mean, you cannot control how people react to you. But if they react to you violently, then I react to them violently. It's that simple.
That's fair.
And I don't know if you've noticed, and I just kind of gesture around, but we have a wolf pack that will also help us. Someone wants you, and we are bringing you to them. But we are not bringing you to them to hand them over, to hand you over. We are bringing them to you to end them because they also have my sister.
And I swear to you, if we don't succeed in our mission, somebody's going to take it up and make sure that they are dead. It's happened before. It'll happen again.
We will succeed in our mission because Silvernose, my friend, the wolf, may lead but a small pack, but wolves talk to each other. Every wolf in the Dales will know what is transpiring here. Every wolf in the Dales will rise against this injustice. That is the way of the pack.
This is the way. Yes. And it reminds me of my pack back home where I come from, the pack of Azamar.
The pack will never be violated.
Well, I told you the story about one time these rogues came to our land, our commune, and tried to scare us into paying protection money. And my brother, my eldest brother, who's a twin, said, "Well, I'll have to consult my sister about this." And then so he called for her, my sister, and she came out in a belt of storm giant strength, full plate mail, and a sword made of ice to tell them in a very cheery voice and ask them what they wanted. She's 6'4". They shat their pants and ran away. It was quite funny. The pack.
I'm not sure I ever find feces funny, but I get the point. But I assure you,
Mhm.
we will approach with you, unfortunately, I'm sorry, as bait. And then we will destroy every living thing that opposes us.
I think Dalen has offered to pretend to be me as bait, which might also be good. Might solve the whole weapons problem, but I don't know if it will work.
I've seen you and I've seen Dalen, and I don't think it will work. He is he is abominable to behold.
All right. I hear, if I can hear this, I approach
As me.
and I say,
Yeah, I mean,
I think I have a way that we could do this if we needed more of Sandalphon. And you just see me concentrate, and I look exactly like Sandalphon. My eyes are a different color. I am your size. I am wearing my clothes, but I am an exact copy of you.
Oh my god, I need to bathe.
and I
she's way better. She's way better than Dalen. That's all I have to say.
We can at least confuse them.
Pull a Harry Potter.
And you see me concentrate back, and I look more like the assistant that you remember.
Oh. I need a haircut, apparently. I need a hair. That was very impressive, by the way, but I need a haircut. Ooh. It's getting a little shaggy back here, a little long.
And you can tell I'm a little bit nervous about having done it, but I just am like...
You got it even down to the no pupils. Amazing.
I know.
This is weird.
Can you do that too?
They're very tricksy, that system. Very tricksy, yes. Okay.
I will say, I think that was one of the best, Joe. I really appreciate you allowing the activated charcoal.
Yeah.
Because
that was awesome.
The best team saves I have ever seen.
That was you guys did, like, in my notes it says, let's see, where did they go? I wrote this, of course, while listening to the song "The Mother We Share" because I'm a goober. And Lisa has been poisoned and will die from it 2d4 minutes after she gives her message.
Ooh. And then we were like, no, activated charcoal, because we don't have any magical healing at the moment for this.
Not poison.
Not for poison. Yeah, if we had a paladin, 5 hit points like that, poison's cured. That was
Right, yeah.
Well, I like the teamwork.
No, I think the to me the best part of that was the fact that everybody they all pulled together, everybody had a part to play, and everybody did it, and that was good stuff.
It was kind of amazing, and Robert, I just want to say the firepower for that.
Yeah, that was
It was just like we're in the woods. There is a place to make charcoal, but how can we do it? And you're like, I have fire, guys. I can do that.
At least I can burn things. I can be true to my dragon self.
Yep.
Everything was awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I agree.
Honestly, like this was great. Thank
I
you
was-
for not letting my mother die.
Well, in the original draft, she finished her speech and then she expired. And I'm like, that's not fair. So I gave that little part so that there would be an opportunity to save her. Didn't know what that was going to look like, but I'm like, 2d4 minutes. We'll see what they can do.
That's, I mean, honestly, as a fellow DM, that's fucking gold. That's what you do. You give the players a chance to see what the fuck they do, because they often surprise you.
Exactly. And that was a wonderful little moment of surprise. And it was like, oh yeah. And I was like, just do some dice rolls. They're not super critical because this is awesome.
Right. Yeah.
And then,
that's the thing.
then at the very end of it, Siston coming in clutch with a 25.
Yeah, that was like, okay, advantage. I got this. I hope. And then Allie's like, I'll let it be one of your good rolls, Mom.
Yeah.
I know. It was like,
roll.
and I was like, and it's with advantage. And she's like, yeah. And the only thing I could think of was, what was it? The other night was it on Critical Role? It had to have been on Critical Role. Something we were watching, and somebody like with advantage rolled a 1 on a test. It was like with advantage rolled a 1. I'm like,
I've done that.
Oh,
yeah. Like, that's like,
yeah, I have too.
oof.
So
That's maximum oof right there. So I was just thinking, as long as it's not double ones, like give me something in the double digits. Surely with advantage, we can do more than double digits. And there's like 25. And I'm like, well, shit, there you go. That's what's up.
yeah.
That
So
right
we
there
recently
is coming in clutch.
ended our Dragon
gonna-
Heist campaign.
I'm going to